Good afternoon. The excitement is real and palpable. It's a bottom of the table clash, but the stakes have never been higher. For the loser of this game, it will most likely mean a season next year in Division 2. The winner stays up. All the games right now live here on Filming Footy. Prince Alfred and Sacred Heart, Glenunga, Payneham, Golden Grove, Tea Tree Gully, Port District and St Peters. But our main game and the main event, tell all your friends to tune in as the day unfolds here at Broadview Oval. The weather is fine, 22 degrees. I'm Jack Moore. I'll be joined by a Broadview custodian very shortly in the form of Rod George, secretary, historian and delegate of the past players for the first half. But as we set the scene, Brighton are out there. They're decimated by injuries, but to a certain extent, so are Broadview. It's the final game as coach for Matt Burgess on the Broadview side of things, as the home crowd welcome their team out to the field. And for Brighton, it's Brett Backwell's final game as coach, and also the final game of the season marks Rob Miles, men's football director, and Lou Crow, women's football director, as they step down and Brighton have a full refresh ahead of 2025. There is plenty to keep an eye on this afternoon. For Brighton, 13 players playing today who played in round one. They are affected by injury. Their captain Wellesby, Carthy, O'Loughlin Johncock are laid in to give them some goal attack. Chris Broadbent, Tom Dermody, Nigel Osborne, Matthew Reid, Jed Farquhar, Dylan Draper, Dylan Lang and Jarman Segal. They're all out. But who they do have, Jake Tarker, the goal sneak, 23 goals on the season. Will Rivers, 31 goals in the top 10 in the league goal kicking, and Jack Francis and Finlay Bennett, who have kicked 12 goals between them. And as I mentioned, Ricky O'Loughlin Johncock, who has 17 goals, are late in, hoping to pull his team over the line. But on the Broadview side of things, they have a goal machine in Johnny Boras. He is up the top of the goal kicking in Div 1 this season. So number one, big whiteboard, his name circled for Brett Backwell, I imagine. 39 goals in his 17 games. The next highest for Broadview, well, it's Campbell Mulleron with 16. So it might be a case of shut down Boras and you could shut down Broadview. But it's a home game as I welcome in the Broadview secretary, historian and delegate for the past players, Rod George. There couldn't be more at stake. Rod, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jack. Yes, a big day for both clubs today. A lot on the line. No doubt they'll be looking at scores at other grounds as well, keeping an eye on it. But no, great day for football. The ground is in almost perfect condition. Practically no breeze to speak of, no rain. Whereas we saw in the B grade game, it was quite open, very moving, very fast. So hopefully we'll have to see the same in the A grade.
Yeah, some great news for the Broadview reserves. They're into the finals, finishing fourth. The big win over Brighton, who, as I mentioned already a couple of times, are decimated. They had to forfeit their C-grade game this morning and put all their attention into surviving in Div 1. Brighton, of course, have come up from the Southern Football League a few seasons ago, and Brett Backwell's done a pretty good job to keep them up with their talent, their stars, getting cherry-picked left, right and centre. From last year's team, they lost the likes of Tarek Illingworth, Harrison Boyle, Jared Miller and Dane McGarry, but same can be said for Broadview, Rod, with Jay O'Leary playing the entire season at Sandford level. Of course, you had Xavier Gotch last year and Jake Hodby, Anthony Carlisle as well, but in recent weeks, a warm welcome back to Nick Little and of course Jesse White, two key figures who hopefully get you over the line from your perspective.
Yes, it's obviously a lot of experience coming here out on the ground, both Jesse White and Nick Little. Hopefully it'll transpire in today and give the guys a bit to play for out there and help them. But no, a lot of experience there. But losing Jay O'Leary for the year is probably something we didn't expect to do, is to lose him for the year. Inspirational captain out of the middle. But good on him. He's made his mark in the SANFL, and that's what basically clubs are here for, is to put players through. So yes, very happy for him. So, but would have liked to have had him this year in the middle there, so with his leadership. But no, yeah, that's the way it is for the day.
It is. The list has had plenty of changeover, and depth has been tested on both sides. As I mentioned with Brighton, 13 players playing today who played in round one, but for Broadview, very, very similar. Only 15 players who turned out in round one, plus Nick Little into the side. So it's a pretty even match-up. A quick look at the ladder as we come into this. Broadview in 10th. Same points as Tea Tree Gully, but a worse percentage. So also hope that Gullies do fall to Golden Grove, which, based on the table with Golden Grove in 4th, you'd expect them to find some form and beat Tea Tree Gully. The captain of Broadview has won the toss. We'll kick to the right hand of your screen, Nick Ferguson. And, well, it's an early win for the day. Let's hope there's more to come from a Broadview perspective.
Yeah, especially when you're talking before about the forfeit this morning. That also guaranteed our C grade a place in the finals. They were in equal with Golden Grove this morning, so the win automatically puts them in, because the percentage gap was about 11%. So we've got 2 finals for the men next week. Both our girls playing down at St Mary's today in the Div 1 reserves and the Div 1. So it's going to be a big night back here, hopefully with 2 premierships and surviving relegation.
Indeed, we're lucky enough to be in a bit of a break in those women's grand finals. The main event starts in just over an hour's time. So on this stream, then you can click back and watch the grand final from St Mary's Park between Broadview and Payneham a little bit later on, and come back and check all the streams out here on Filming Footy. A big thanks to our sponsors, the Adelaide Footy League, scoreboard sponsor Sportal and Hahn Ultra Zero Carb. Our stats brought to you by Filming Footy, Dartfish, Farmers Leap, our proud sponsor of Coach of the Week. Best on ground, of course, wins a pair of those Archie thongs, Archie's Elite Comfort for your feet. And a snag of the day up for grabs, 1 kilo of gourmet sausages thanks to Jag Meatworks. And of course our Coach of the Week brought to you by Farmers Leap Winery at Padthaway. Media Award for Player of the Year, Goal of the Week thanks to Born to Build, and Mark of the Week thanks to Bianco. You can see all of those awards in our weekly show Between the Posts. The man, the myth, the legend, who is Tommy Javor, hosts that on a Tuesday night on the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page. And before we get started, a quick summary of what it would mean for Broadview, Rod, to stay in Div 1 next season.
Well, every club, no club likes to get relegated, let's be honest with that. But Broadview has always been a traditional Division 1 club. We've had our struggles over the last 10 years or so. We're back in Division 1. We want to stay in Division 1. It's part of the club that this is known as a Division 1 club. When we look at the 80s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, this was the club where you wanted to be for a lot of us players. This is where we wanted to be. And we want to become that club again, where it's the club of destination. It's the club that you want to be at and enjoy it, and especially with the new surroundings, the new building, and just the magnificent view up here on the balcony. It's what more could you want for football?
Not much from a broadcasting perspective, that's for sure. I was saying to somebody earlier, the Brighton broadcasting area and the Broadview broadcasting area are top notch, and unfortunately it seems like we're only going to have one in season 2025. We are underway. Jesse White in there against Tim Dixon, the long socks. He's missed it everywhere for Brighton. First clearance, but it's cut off by the Tigers in their home strip. And they'll look to enter their forward half of the ground, just through the hands. But waiting at the back is Smith, a boom recruit this season. He's been one of the best, if not the best, for the Tigers, and they're off to an absolute flyer. Goal within a minute, Ethan Smith. And aren't they happy about it?
Nice start by Easy there, very nice. Picked it off the back of the pack there and ran through, open goal, made the most of it, and that's the start we want. Keep that going and keep building, it'll be a great day.
What a recruit he's been for Maroubra Junior, and played some footy at the Sydney Swans Academy and Sandringham and the VFL and North Reserves last year. He's been a real key cog for you this season, Ethan Smith.
Oh yes, he came to us last year, played in our big reunion game last year and felt immediately at home at the club and absolutely loved it. And when he made the decision, this is where he wanted to be.
He did all he could to lift you a couple of weeks ago against Spock, but Spock, obviously, they saved themselves for this time of the year, and that fourth quarter in that game was quite something, as Spock looked to have rescued themselves again, of course, beating Glenunga last week. So some good umpiring, getting the game moving quickly. Tarker on the ball, which just means that Brett Backwell is just putting his best players around the footy. Here's Higgins. Nice handball to Dixon. He's got space and time. Floating little tumbler. Broadview are pretty well stocked, but it goes straight through the hands of Ralph. Picked up by the captain today, Nerlich. Lachlan Johncock delayed in, playing out of the goal square. He's a dangerous operator. And this kick's going to come up and roaming up the ground hill. The boundary line might beat them both. No, keeps it in. O'Leary, bit of hand candy. all the way down. That's a beautiful haircut, but the bump Haynes was taken care of. Here's Murphy, has a bit of time, shares it with Venning, back to Murphy, and Broadview have started with a lot of pressure. Coming down and a couple of mini Biancos, but nobody could touch it. There's Tarka. Warner starting out of forward. There's a bit of a magnet shift, usually a wingman. O'Loughlin Johncock wanting to put his stamp on things. Harvey's kick, here's Warner in the goal square. Would have levelled things up. Some pretty good footy from Brighton there.
Some very good start.
You've got our couple of changes, Snorri? Yes, no worries.
No, very good start there. Both sides coming out firing early, so chance here to level the ledger and get it back to a goal apiece.
Only 2 goals in the season for Warner. He's played 17 games, under 18 level for South, and in Brighton Junior. So a win today would mean a lot for him, and he slams it through. So a goal apiece early. And we look to have a pretty good contest on our hands here. We'll keep you up to date with the other results from around the grounds at quarter time and half time as well. But just some key players who you think from the Broadview side we just might make that 1% difference this afternoon.
Obviously, we just talked about Ethan Smith before, and I think Benny Manning up forward, Jesse White in the centre with Nick Little, and Steve Jackson in the middle. If those guys really get going and really take possession of the ball and make the most of it, it's going to be very hard for Brighton to nullify those guys if they get on their bikes and get going.
Indeed. So we're back in the middle. Jesse White, he's looked like he's building into some fitness the past couple of weeks, but he looks ready to fire. Tap was sharp. It's a kick from Perry, floating across 2-on-1. He does that for a living, Jack Fergus. So solid behind the footy for you.
Yes, we'd be a very happy man at the moment with the B-grade being the B-grade coach and then making the finals. We'd be concentrating now on getting the win now today.
Full of energy, the Eastern Park Junior, played some footy for Butte. He's been at Broadview since 2015. His kick finds the wing, O'Leary. Foot race on, bit of a sprint. Oh, he was bumped high. It looked like an umpire didn't think so. And the boundary wins up. But some good news for Broadview fans. O'Leary's picked himself up. And a bit of biff with Jack Plenty. He says, you try that again and you might get some of it back your way. A tough customer, O'Leary.
Very tough customer, just like his brother, but no, he don't think he would have enjoyed that. But the ball going into the forward lines here, easily marked by the Brighton player in front of Haynes.
Yeah, the umpires consulted and it was off the hand or the boot, as O'Leary was complaining, but no damage done in the green boots. You've got to use the ball pretty well if you wear those. Once again, Fergus waits the back of the pack, but it beats everyone over the line for a throw-in.
Yes, obviously it's a good start here. Both sides are going. There's going to be some physical football out there today. It's all on the line for both sides, but Scholl now and Yang into the ruck now, so we'll see how he goes here.
He's been a player I've been super impressed with, Hazan Yang. Just the flexibility, the agility. His tap finds Jackson Wilson all the way in. It's 1-on-1 forward 50. Can Broadview get someone running onto it? Streaming into an open goal, but just pushing it across the face.
Now, Jesse White now with the change in ruck has moved into the forward pocket area, so that gives another big target up forward for the Tigers.
Mentioned in the pre-game, Brighton missing so many players, have to put Tim Dixon in that ruck contest as Lloyd takes the mark. He was well and truly outclassed by Scotty Lysette last week, was Tim Dixon. And then move it on the outer side, this is Blake Higgins. Coach Brett Backwell had to push Jordan Baston into a reserve ruck roll. He's out of the side, so it's going to be all Dixon. And Chowan Yang just dragging Dixon around the ground. So some key tactics maybe just to tire him out.
Oh, most definitely. And Scholl very athletic, so he'll drag him all over the place where he can. So. Such
a good pick-up. He's got a long resume. North under 18. Hummocks watchman and played some footy for Banks in the NTFL and Centrals in the Sandford Reserves. Off the back, Higgins. Broadview really solid behind the footy. Look like they've got a couple of spare there as Brighton just push one up around the contest. Free man on, it's Wilson. He stops and props, and pretty obvious 25 there. Harvey took a step over the mark, hoping the umpire wouldn't see it, but the umpires are keen for a finals appearance as well. They've got to be on their game. Here's Jackson.
Booming kick into the forward line.
He's an absolute star, Stephen Jackson. More on him when the ball goes dead next. Under pressure. Just pushes that handball back. A bit more on Stephen Jackson.
Yes, a recruit from played at North Adelaide, and I think it was Wenaroo Bay that we picked him up from.
Yeah, 195 games there. He kicked 248 goals there.
Beautiful left leg, especially if he gets onto it. That long raking left leg can easily kick a goal from inside the centre square if he gets onto one.
6 goals, 15 games. Number 27 for Broadview. One to watch, along with number 8. We've already seen him kick a goal, Ethan Smith. Brighton bring it out. Looks like both teams are just holding back a couple of metres, looking to stop their defensive structure and not let it past halfway. So Brighton easily out through Will Rivers. He's taken late, so it'll be a downfield free. It might go the way of the captain Nerlich, or who was involved. Yep, so Scotty Nerlich, a chance to congratulate him. His 200th senior game and 97th in the A grade. A one-club player, heart and soul for the Bombers this afternoon. So interesting from Brett Backwell. He's pushed Rivers behind the footy. Of course, Jarman Seagal usually has that post. He's been called up by Adelaide in the Sandful, as he has all season. Nice contested mark, Evans. With Cove Jr., he bombs it to about 10 out. Beautiful mark back there. Holding up well defensively.
Nick Ferguson, good strong mark there now. Out onto the half-back flank. He's picked up by Stephen Jackson again. Kicks it down the wing. Can't quite see what that is there. Forwards it on again, Broadview. Onto Benny Manning now. Benny Manning turns inside, kicks it into the half-forward area. Going for an overhead mark. Handball's on. That's got to Ethan Smith. It's just over his face. Still fighting for it there. It's gone back to the Brighton player now and coming back out of defence.
It's a privilege to have Rod George there, joining us for the first half. Broadview secretary, historian and delegate for the past players. And Broadview had a number over the back in the goal square. They just couldn't get the footy on. Brighton pushed up nicely, but it might work now. Is Maron? Goal coming up, Broadview.
Yes, good goal there to Campbell Mulholland.
They deserve that.
Very good. Worked hard for that. A lot of hard work done there. No, it's a good goal. It's been a good goal sneak this year. Been very come up. Broadview Junior come up through the ranks and played in a premiership side a couple of years ago, so knows what it's all about. But looking very good out there at the moment. The boys are up and about definitely. So there's a long way to go.
Some experience for Campbell with North under 18 side a few years back, and made his senior debut here at Broadview, round 6 2022. And yeah, he's been a bit of a surprise find in the forward line for you, I guess.
Very much so. I think he was playing on the wing and half forward in the B grade, but no, he knows where the goals are, and he can get out and gets away from his opponent a little bit, which is what you want to see from a forward. So Jesse White back in the ruck.
His 17th goal on the season. As we tick past the 9.5 minute mark, it's been a pretty interesting arm wrestle so far. White and Dixon. Tarker's getting a bit of it. We'll see if he pushes up forward, if they can hold it in there. Looks to be holding his spot in the midfield. Gee, really strong tackling from both teams.
Yeah, good strong tackle there by Tyler McKenzie, known as T-Mac, so holding Brighton out there again. Picked up by Danielle, kicks it high up into the air for a marking contest between Flanagan and the Brighton player. Still fighting there in the middle. Picked up by Jesse White, onto Tyron Hill, weaves around one player, onto Campbell Mulholland again. Kicks forward, Johnny Boris is on the lead, and Boris has got it. 45 metres out there in front.
You look up goal machine in the dictionary, you find a picture of this man, don't you?
Oh, most definitely. So it's a fight on between him and I think Brodie Latham from Tea Tree Gully for the goal kicking title today. So
125 goals in 2021, if you can get your head around that. And he's kicked 466 in 106 games for Imperial when he played there. So here's Boras from pretty much directly in front.
Lining up now, just walking it in lightly. Looks good off the boot. Goal umpire has not moved. It's another goal for Broadview. Broadview now go to 3-2, 20 to Brighton, one solitary goal.
That's on the Sporto and Hahn Ultra Zero Carb scoreboard. I dare say the majority of these lads will enjoy themselves at Hahn Ultra Zero Carb after the season concludes in 3.5 quarters.
Right, another change there. Jackson Harms coming back onto the forward line with Benny Manning heading to the bench.
I was going to say, Hames, the 26, making me a bit jealous of that hair. Just free flowing, isn't it?
Yes, I remember those days back in the 80s and the 90s. Had a nice one myself at that point.
It would be beautiful. So there's Boras with that goal. Mulleron and Smith the others. Warner cancelled out Smith's early goal, but a bit of a margin now. 3-2 to 1 goal. As Rod George called beautifully, and they're out of the middle again. Brighton kind of stopped, anticipating a whistle. There's the man with the flowing locks. That was Jackson Hames. Dangerous Anyang just waits out the back for it. Doesn't get all the way out. Brighton can clear a free man in Tarka. The kick's got to hit. Hit the ground. Umpire says play on. Tarka knew it too. And that kick...
out of bounds on the full.
Bit too casual. Yeah. Harvey was there unmarked. And Broadview are going to pump it back in through Cooper O'Leary.
Hits it off to Nick Little. Nick Little turns around, swings it inside now, hits Stephen Jackson, takes the mark there comfortably. Looking down forward, swings onto that big left leg now. Nice big kick right into the teeth of goals. Mulhurran down there fighting for it, and Mulhurran has marked it just outside the square. Big mark down there. So on about a 45-degree angle, about 10 metres out. And did that one quite easily in the end. Didn't push the Brighton player in the back, just edged him under it and took the mark nicely. Very, very tight angle. He's going for the Stevie J kick around the corner by the looks of it.
Just read the flight, didn't he? Knew it was going to travel the extra half a metre.
Yeah. Comes around the corner now, and yes, it's home. Second goal to Campbell Mulhurran. Great start there by the Tigers.
What a start. Tigers, on paper, you'd back them in today with the amount of outs that Brighton have, but these sort of games can be pretty crazy ones. But again, Brighton find themselves in a bit of a hole. Last week they conceded, they were goalless until half time, and at quarter time it was 6 goals to zip down at Brighton Oval against Port.
So nice start here by the Tigers. 4 goals in the first 10 to 15 minutes here, so it's a good start. Jesse White back into the middle of the centre with Nick Little, Stephen Jackson and Sam Danielle as the on-ball brigade.
Yeah, so Little man's up Tarka. That's a battle. Very intriguing. Now the next goal to the Bombers. There's Bennett just coming out. He's got 12 goals in the season, playing around the ball. Oh, another tough tackle down there. Can the captain provide some inspiration? Nerlich, he can't initially, but chase as well. And how's the Jets on this man? Cooper O'Leary, he's got rockets for boots. All the way down, Jesse White. He was caught at the back and did pretty well to knock it over for a 50-50 and have a boundary throw in about 10 metres forward of centre for the Tigers. For the Bombers, I should say. So White and Dixon. White's got the strength. He's got the body.
Beautiful left-handed tap out there to Danielle, onto Cooper. Cooper gets the handball out. Onto White, back to Nick Little now. Magpie gets in the way. Kicks the ball inboard, finds hands onto the handball, onto Danielle. Danielle down forward now, and he finds, Mulhurran nearly had it, spilled it slightly. Come back out, the Brighton player, handballs in front of him. Caught now, and so over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Yeah, that was Murphy doing some good work. 17 games. He's played all games this season. Played some footy at Glenelg in the Rezzies over the past 4 seasons too. So, again, it's that White and Dixon battle, and White just getting on top.
Yeah, just got the slight advantage there. Aboard the physical strength. Another beautiful right-handed palm down to Little. Couldn't quite grab hold of it. Ball's in dispute there. All finding Little back onto it now. Picks it up to Cooper. Cooper short forward pass. Intercepted by the Brighton player.
I tell you what though, around the footy, it's those names who are standing up. Nick Little has only come back in for a couple of games this season.
The ball's almost been picked off there by Anyang, but he's played the chopping of the arms there. Brighton player plays on now.
Some relief for the Bombers there, wasn't it?
Yes, picked up there. Hill have advantage of it. Picked up now, comes back into the Broadview forward line. And Boris's lead was cut off there by the Brighton player.
Cut off by Curtis Perry. 29 league games for South. And 265 for Langhorne Creek. So very experienced. There's so much experience across both these teams. Harvey might be the next link in the chain once Murphy sees him, but O'Leary does well to push Harvey wide. That option's gone. Nice measured kick to Book. Just dragging Hamish Routh up the ground, so if Brighton can use it a bit quickly, he's going to find it hard to get back, but they slow it down. Gives Brighton the chance to equalise numbers. Here's Fergus waiting at the front. It's a Bianco mark of the day contender.
Big strong mark there by Fergus front. He plays on now into the middle of the ground out to Hill on the far side. Hill takes the mark, plays straight on around, reels onto that right boot on the big lead up there, and is picked up by Boris. Takes a strong mark right in front there with all the Brighton players got lost in the flight of the path there, and takes a nice mark on his own there.
You can see a clear difference in the way both teams are going. Brighton's slow, steady, and they kick it, and Broadview have set their defence up, but when it's in the hands of the Tigers, they just push it fast, and it makes the back six panic, and on that occasion, the body work was elite from Boris.
Well, it's almost like play on at every opportunity. Just keep the ball moving, contested ball, keep it moving. So just comes to that ball, and Boris is slightly offline this time. The umpire has to make a bit of a right gallop to his left, and it's 1 point.
A let off for the Bombers. Umpires out there today, Jason Hayes and Frank Manikis in the field. Andrew Roberts and Alex Wicker on the boundary, and Daniel Harold and Joe Biggs with the flags. I'm going to push their names up for finals contention. Slammed out of back 50 to a bit of a contest. Nerlich waits down, flies late. Yeah, give that a Bianco mark of the day contender.
Good strong mark there.
Brought the Bianco ladder out, and this is a bit better from Brighton, moving it quickly. There's Book, it must be pretty open inside forward 50. Warner, their sole goal kicker, and look at the Tigers arrive, just leaping on Aaron Warner there.
Just gang tagging the three of them there straight into it there. Jesse White again there for the ball up now. And
so
it's a big thump clear. Picked up by Danielle. Right now he's got it now. Has one bounce right on the centre wing. Chips it inboard now. Set Hill up for a big one there. Picked up, comes back to Little fights it out, gets back out to Danielle. Danielle kicks it forward again. It's a 2-on-1 here. Mulholland has been given a free kick for holding.
Oh, really?
So it comes back to him now.
Discipline from Brighton, isn't it? They didn't need to do that, as you called it. Had the 2-on-1 there.
Inboard to Hill. Hill running in just onto the 50 now. Chips it up. Got the options up here. And it's picked up by Anyang. Plays on, walks in the open goal, and goal to the Tigers. Nice goal there to Shoal. He'd be very happy with that. And that takes Broadview out to 5-3, 33 to Brighton. One solitary goal still. Yeah,
red lights and bells going off in the Brighton box for Brett Backwell and his assistant coaching staff. 5-3, 33, one goal. It was one goal apiece after Warner cut out Smith's first minute goal. But since then, Mulleron's got himself a couple, Boras and Anyang. And Boras could have had two and could have pushed this lead a bit further, but we were talking about Anyang's versatility to cover the ground. He just gapped his opponent there and they didn't know where he was.
I think at times they don't pay quite enough attention to him being in the forward line, being a ruckman, but he's been a beautiful tap out there again by White in the middle down to Little. Little can't get his hands on the ball. It's still picked up by now Danielle. He comes back out and shoots the ball out. He's got Hams here fighting for it. Comes back to the Brighton players. They get it back out. And they're trying to come out through the middle. Oh, bad handball there. It's picked up by Hill now. He's still fighting hard for it. Ethan Smith in there as well. Hill back in there again, and looks like it's going to be a ball up. The umpire's not sure. No, it's come back out again. It's picked up by Kane Flanagan. Blind turn. Ball is smothered. Come back again to the Brighton players. And they're quite trying to get it out of there. Looks like they've got it out of their defensive 50 now, right in the middle of the ground.
Cheeseman Dutton, a bit late to pick himself up, but he's up, so we'll keep an eye on that. He was clutching his head there. This is Jackie Francis, 12 goals in the season, getting all the way up the ground just to get a touch, but finds the magic man, Jakey Tarker. This might be right on his distance. Started on ball, he's pushed forward, if you didn't know. A pretty good resume, 167 games and 267 goals for Encounter Bay. Knows it's not within his distance, so passes off, and Francis some gut running to be an option because he's the one that kicked it to Tarker.
If anything, the breeze is slightly going to the southern end, so anything from 50, that end is a bit of a struggle from that distance. But now he'd be sitting at about 35 to 40 metres out by the time he gets into the kick, so lining up now. And see if he can add to Brighton's score and try and get them slightly back into the game.
And don't they need it? 5 goals to 1. Sharp start for the Tigers. Francis, third leading goal scorer for the Bombers. And they fueled up the jet. They're on the runway and they might be about to take off. Jackie Francis played some footy for Westminster Old Scholars. In fact, this season, sorry, I'll correct myself, in 2013 and 2014 has been at the Bombers now for a couple of seasons. So Sporto and Hahn Ultra Zero Carb scoreboard, 5-3, 33 the Tigers, 2 straight for the Bombers, and we've ticked into time on first quarter in this winner-take-all clash. Jack Moore joined by Broadview Secretary Rod George for the call here on Filming Footy.
Yes, Brighton will be quite happy to get that one back in. But Broadview will be very excited with their good start here. It's picked up by White of Middle, and again handballs off to a couple of players, goes back down forward, quite just over the head of Hill, but still wrong with the ball now, still fighting for it. He's got it now on the right outside of the boot. The goal umpire has not moved. He's bagged it from 45 metres out, and that's another goal of the Tigers. A quick answer there, 6-3-39 to 2 goals 12. So right back in again. Got the lead back out again, so that's a great start for the Tigers. 6 goals in the first quarter. That's the start that Matty Burgess will be looking for today from his Chargers. Very good start there.
Going to send Matty Burgess off on a winning note to keep the club in Div 1 for sure. A little bit about Hill. This is his first season at the club.
First season.
Imagine he's played 31 reserves games at the Eagles and 47 reserves games at North. So just so silky as well. The way he just brought that back on the kind of reverse Bunana and slotted that through.
Very nicely there, so you'd be very happy with that. So Jesse White again on the middle and winning all the centre bounces at the moment.
That's his 6th goal in the season for Hill.
Another beautiful tap out there. Comes down to Ethan Smith. Doesn't quite get hold of it. It's picked up by the Brighton players and they set him forward line, but it's safe mark going to be taken here by Jack Fergus.
Yeah, Tarka just not lifting the eyes because Fergus's man, I think it might have been Chalmers, was 20 metres the other side of Jackie Fergus, but the angle of the kick and they bite off that enticing corridor kick. The best teams in footy do that beautifully these days. Jesse White, he looks fit as a fiddle so far. An uncontested mark from half back to middle of the ground. Next one is the killer. This is Daniele. All the big names for Broadview have started like a house on fire. Can Broadview... that's just lazy.
That is just bad decision work there by the Brighton player. He's just given away the 25-metre penalty, which now brings Campbell Mulholland within 30 metres of goal here.
And as we've said, he's the second leading goal scorer for the Tigers this year. I think it was Harvey just wandering, just kind of out for a Sunday stroll, about a metre from him.
What would have put me in, Mulholland was looking there to pass off, it was outside of his range. Now inside his range, lining up for his 3rd goal. Comes off the boot, the umpire's making a little bit of a movement, but it looks like he's coming back to the middle, and that's another goal. So that's the 3rd goal to Mulholland. Just getting the all clear from the umpires now, and that is a great start. 7 goals in the first quarter of the Tigers. That is the dream start they would have been looking for today.
7 goals, spot on, only one coming the way from Johnny Boris and Anyang and Hill and Smith with the first one, and Campbell Mulholland. Wow, there he is putting his name up in lights. 3 first quarter goals, 7 conceded for the Bombers, and it's not looking good early, but Shane Harvey had a pretty interrupted season, only played the 10 games, back in the side last week after injury, and he's caught himself strolling, Rod, and you called it. It was Mulholland looking to play on. If the play is inside that protected area, the umpire's going to ping him every time. So Anyang in the ruck, dominating in that part of the ground. Tarka's had a lot of it, but he's turned it over more times than not, and he finds O'Leary.
O'Leary comes
done this
out
pretty well, haven't they? They've spread the ground, made it look big, and I'd love to see the uncontested mark stat, because I dare say it would be all Broadview. They brought it back in the middle of the ground last time and it worked. But Francis this time intercepts. Can Brighton, it's a floating little tumbler.
Picked up by Dixon, though. He's taken the mark just on the 50-yard line against Hamish Ralph there. So
he's playing in front.
Still a fair kick from there. He looks into sending it deep into the forward line there. Early leap there, and umpires paid an early leap there against the Brighton player, and it'll go to Jack Fergus right on the last line of defence.
Yeah, Ricky O'Loughlin, John Cocker laid in 17 goals in his season, but playing injured is my mail, and that's why he's playing out of the goal square. Usually very dangerous up around the midfield and on the wing, and he just got his calculations wrong. You called it beautifully. Went up, had the hands in the back. He took the mark, but it was too late. But out of defence, Book intercepts. He was dropped in round 2, back in this Brighton side since round 9. His kick was pretty good. Playing for the free kick there, Sheffield, but he had his head over the footy.
Yes, high tackle there, and he'll line up for goal about 25 metres out on a slight angle.
Lockie Sheffield, the Henley Junior and Henley Senior, actually played some footy for Henley in the seniors earlier this season, would you believe it? I didn't know you could do that, swap clubs mid-season.
As long as it's before June 30 and both clubs agree.
Made his senior debut in round 9 and just pushed it to that right-hand side, just didn't hold its line. They needed that desperately. We're ticking towards quarter time on the Sportal, and Hahn Ultra Zero Carb scoreboard. 26 gone, Broadview 7-3-45. What a quarter. Bombers 2-1-13. Broadview lead by 32 points.
Yes, that'll be a nice lead. That's a nice lead at this stage of the game, so they'll definitely be looking to add more to it throughout the rest of the game. But Jack Fergus looking to kick out, comes out of the goal square now, and plays on and kicks it right up towards this defensive side of the wing. Big contest there, and the ball heading towards the boundary line and will be thrown in for a ball in just 10 metres on the attacking side for Brighton.
Just a quick chance to pay homage to Matt Burgess too. His final game, as we mentioned, some kind words about him, I'm sure.
Oh, most definitely. We knew when Matt joined the club in 2022 as the A-grade coach, we knew what we were getting at, as he was a former player here back in 2006. Definitely knew what he wanted to do, and definitely said Broadview is a Division 1 club and wanted to bring Broadview. A little bit of a skirmish on here.
Yeah, Rivers was taken care of after the ball crossed the boundary.
Yeah, not too happy about it. Not happy about it at all. Another Brighton player getting into it with Nick Little and Ben Manning, but playing on now, short pass inboard and just on the defensive side of the centre wing for Brighton.
Yeah, Rivers, he's been asked to play a role down back, which is interesting because he's their leading goal kicker with 31 on the season, but of course they're missing the ever-present Jarman Segal. He's like a sponge back there, Jarman. The Crows in the Sandfield, of course, chance to make the finals. They've called him up, rightly so. Here's Tarka, pushing up, ticking towards the 27-minute mark. Can't be much time left, but a goal here. Oh, that's some gut running fast on the lead. Might be a tad outside his distance for Francis to put it into a hole, and that is perfect in between three Broadview players. They look around and say, who had him? Well, and it's the captain and the 200 gamer, Scotty Nerlich.
So it's about a minute to go here, we believe. So he's lining up for goal here, and a big chance to really keep the door open here. So bring it back to a 4-goal lead. So comes in now. It's about 25 metres out on a slight angle. No, and it's come off the boot again, and it's drifted to the right again. Another point. So that takes Brighton on to 2-2. The Broadview 7-3. Jack Fergus to kick in again for the Tigers. Just settling down and just summing up his options here. Coming, waiting now. He comes out of the goal square now, plays on, coming out to the members' side of the ground again and coming up towards the half-back flank. Big pack forms and it's punched over the line for another ball in.
That would have been just a tonic for Brighton, but in all fairness, I think the scoreboard pretty accurately reflects the first quarter dominance by Broadview, especially in the ruck and around the ball.
That's been very, very clean, winning the rucks very well at the moment, and the on-ball brigade absolutely just picking it up here now. Yang now just packs it down and it comes back to him, still fighting for it. It's in the pack. All the players still fighting for it there. It's not really going anywhere. And looks some balls under Nick Little at the moment, but no, actually Logan McKinnon Collins, and it was
great tackle from Perry, and they made a bit of a switch in the ruck there. Brighton. Book looks like he's chopping out when Dixon goes forward, but a dominant first quarter on the Adelaide Footy League stream here on Filming Footy. We'll bring you up to date with all the other game scores after we come back, but thanks to our sponsors, Filming Footy, Sports Interactive, the Adelaide Footy League, Sportal and Hahn Ultra Zero Carb, Dartfish for our video, Farmers Leap, Best on Ground Archies, and our snag of the day thanks to Jag Meatworks. At quarter time in this do or die battle, winner stays up, loser goes down. Broadview 7-3-45, lead the Bombers 2-2-14, a 31-point lead. Second quarter is coming up very, very soon. you may be joining us, welcome back to a pretty calm Broadview Oval in terms of the weather. It's 23 degrees, a warm afternoon, what we've been experiencing, and a hot start from Broadview in that first quarter. Jack Moore here on Filming Footy, joined by the Broadview Secretary, Historian and Delegate for Past Players, Rod George, and a big smile on your face at that quarter-time break.
Yes, a very big smile, especially now they're also having heard the score up at Golden Grove. So
yeah, we'll bring you up to date with that very, very quickly. So quarter time, Golden Grove 34, Tea Tree Gully 15, and it looks like Port District are leading St Peters as well. And the other games, Benunga up by 7 at quarter time against Paynham, and it looks like it's all tied up between Prince Alfred and Shock. But as you mentioned, for Broadview fans, it's all about that Tea Tree Gully result.
Yes.
That's going the way you want so far, as it is here. So second quarter underway, Frank Manicus. He's joined by Nathan May as a late inclusion in the field, with Jason Hayes originally appointed to this game. So Nathan May and Frank Manicus, and a repeat stoppage back in the middle, and Jesse White's been quite dominant. Brent Backwell's throwing Tim Dixon right back in there as his first choice ruckman. Understatement to say that Brighton need the first couple. Smith just waits off it, waiting for Jackson to gather, but nothing happened there. O'Leary, the intelligent, the soccer on. Smith, his partner in crime, the Bonnie and Clyde, all the way to the goal square. Onyang, oh, he wanted the one-handed mark. Thought he could have been held, but they were holding each other as they flick it out to the wing, and Jesse White chasing it down. Can you believe that? Tarka should have the best of him. Jesse White, just a trailing arm, maybe not intentional, but caught Tarka around the shoulder there, Rod.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a reach there. A bit of height difference there, but Brighton swing it into the middle of the ground now, and off they go, and big nice left foot kick into the forward line, easily marked by the Brighton player.
Yeah, here's Rivers, so he has switched back to his regular home up forward. There's Dixon. I call him the ultimate swingman, because he pops up in the ruck, he pops up at half back, and in the forward line, hands off. Oh, slack marking Perry for the perfect start for the Bombers. Lift off.
Nice start there, Broadview defence there, just expecting him to go back and have a line up for goal, but always the smart, intelligent thing to do there, hand off to the running player who is a good shot on goal, and Broadview, and also having no one on the line down there, so caught napping their defence, so no doubt Jack Ferguson and a couple of other guys down there will have a good think about that one and make sure that doesn't happen again.
And who would have thought playing your 31 goal a season, top 10 in the league up forward would actually pay off? It was a bit of a risk in that first quarter to put him down back to fill the Jarman Seagull-shaped hole, but in the end, a beautiful goal on the run for Perry. A little bit of a slack marking job from the Bombers, from the Tigers. They weren't ready for it. Clearance going the way of the Bombers, and they're inside 50 again. That's a nice kick under pressure. Really well done.
Nice kick by Rhodes there out to the wing there.
All the way to the
picked
wing.
up by Hill.
It's his Hill, isn't it? So he switches it back inside, and Elix Day's been pretty good this year.
Had a good season, Elix Day. Looking to hand off here, but no. Ends up going forward and finding Ben Manning, who handballs it out there now onto Campbell Mulholland again. And kicking it deep into the forward line here, and all the Brighton players spill the easy mark. Ball comes forward again. Picked up by Jackson there, trying to get it. Spills out of his hands, and it goes over the boundary line for a throw-in.
Yeah, so equal numbers still behind the footy at both ends of the ground. It looks like Broadview might have pushed a spare back, but he's been manned up. Brighton just electing to play Jack Chalmers about 20 metres off, just to add the extra number in case it comes out this near side.
Fairly crowded forward pocket down there, so the ball's in the air. Brighton player picks up. Jesse White snaps it off his boot. It's high up into the pocket area there, and it's marked by, looks like Stephen Jackson, I think.
Might be Boris down there in the pocket. It is Boris, yeah, yes. He's got those white boots, and very strong individual. Right place, right time, but the smarts of Johnny Boris. He's got a lot to teach.
Going to the banana. Goal umpire offline, 1 point.
Tough angle for Boris, so that's Sporto and Hans Ultra Zero scoreboard. Brighton have just pulled it back with that opening goal. Who would have thought a bit of fast ball movement like they did for that goal paid dividends. 7-4, 3-2. That's Sporto and Hans scoreboard. 26-point lead. And all of a sudden, the dominant first quarter for Broadview, The margin's within reach as Dixon uses the body pretty well against Anyang, but Anyang's not going to give up on any fight. He goes back in and lays a couple of tackles. What about that from Chol?
Very, very lucky there. The Brighton player actually did drag the ball back under him, but the umpire was on the wrong side to see him actually do it. So.
It did look, he dived on the footy.
Yeah.
White goes up and just nudges Dixon out. All that smarts. Former Swans ruckman, of course, and played some footy at Collingwood. Jesse White, if you're not too educated, is Tarka. Kicks to a 2-on-1. Lachlan Johncock can usually win that, but he's playing injured. That should be cut off. Oh, he needed to mark that. If not, Broadview are off to the races inside 50. Venning comes across the ground to find Perry. 29 league games for South.
Both sides definitely switching the ball when coming out of defence from side to side, trying to find the open spot and finding the fat side of the ground. But coming up now to the centre wing area now, nice contest here, but Shoal gets his hand in there, the ball's fighting on the ground, and Brighton able to come out with the ball here. Kicks forward now, and it's marked there by the Brighton player right there on about 10 metres inside the 50-metre area.
Chalmers, yeah, it was a great read from Sheffield inside 50 now. And, they're flirting with the boundary, but the man they started back, well, he might have himself he's already got himself a goal assist in this quarter, and he might have himself his opening goal. He's kicked 31 on the season. Former Waratah player in the NTFL, had a season for the Crows at Sandford level. This is a tough angle, but we'll see if he can slot it through for the Bombers fans. They desperately need it.
Getting a lot of curry there from the Broadview members on the hill there in the C-grade brigade, so he lines up now. Looks pretty good off the boot, but the old goal umpire says no, it's offline. And definitely getting the curry from the members on the hill down there.
I think we mentioned it slightly in the pre-game, but an accomplishment for both your C and B grade teams at Broadview. They'll be playing finals next week.
Yes, that's very excited about that, so that's very good.
And the girls, of course, in action, and both the reserves.
And the league grand
and the league.
So yeah, no, things are looking very good.
Really strong. Just need that final piece of the puzzle with a win here to keep these men in Div 1 and then go on the hunt for a new coach, and who knows next season. But Brighton have the exact same mission. White. Oh, I tell you what, White did well just to guard Dixon out of it, but they didn't account for Murphy flying over the back. He's got a short option inside, but Lloyd turns around a little bit too late. Anyang, a few funny buggers there after the kick went out. And might be a free kick going the way of the Tigers. Push to a man who's always got a cool head in Ralph. Little had to wait, but it got there. Nick Little, of course, 5-time best and fairest for South in the Sandford.
Brighton this quarter seem to have manned up a lot more. They're not as loose now, but they're playing a lot more man on man. But here we go, Broadview getting the run down the middle again. Picked up there by Fergus onto Manning onto Daniel back onto Jesse White. Jesse White kicks it long deep in front. Boris has got the lead here, and Boris has got the mark. 20 metres out, almost dead in front.
Tell you what, that's Liam Mounts there on him. It's his first senior game of the season, and what about that from Brett Backwell? He's like, you're in the team and you've got to play on Johnny Boris, and I tell you what, 6s and 7s. Boris has him absolutely puzzled down there.
Yes, absolutely able to body him under the ball and get him out of the way there legally, and now lining up for his second goal. So almost dead in front. This should be a good, simple goal for Boris. So he comes in now, kicks. Goal umpire's made a little bit of movement, but the crowd's happy, and so is Johnny. And that's another goal of Broadview, taken to 8-4 to Brighton 3-3. So definitely getting it back in there now.
8-4-52, 3-3-21. Jack Moore alongside the expertise of the Broadview Secretary, Historian and Delegate for Past Players, Rod George. And a quick shout out to your Football Director. I'll let you mention that, moving into a new role next season.
Yeah, Football Director Paul Beneke. He's been in the role as Football Director and Football Manager now for the last 6 years. He's moving over into a new role next year as taking over the membership, which is something we've sort of been looking for someone to take over. So he's looking forward to taking that on. Hopefully he's with a little bit less stress.
It's always good to have a bit of less stress in your life. So free kick, this time going the way of Dixon. So 1 goal apiece in this quarter. Boris has 41 now on the season. He's leading the Div 1 goal kicking charts. Can you believe that? For a team who come into today sitting 10th. goodness knows where you'd be without him.
I think we wouldn't even be worried about whether we're going down or not. We would know we'd be going down.
It's a tough challenge to get back up once you go down. Just ask Old Ignatians and Goodwood this season. A broad view of it figured out so far. Plenty of footy yet to be played. That's a beautiful tackle, Ty Murphy. All that experience, and Brighton once again go back to that fast play, but Broadview have a 2-on-1, make it 3 now, and there's appeals for a free kick, but the umpire says you've got to contest the footy first.
Yes, I think a couple of Broadview players are possibly looking for a bit of a push in the back as well, but no, it's a ball in now right in Brighton's forward pocket area there, and we've looks like from here it's Jackson Anyang contesting the ball in there.
Yeah, and doesn't quite win the hit out, but the immediate pressure of the body, and you can feel him breathing down your neck if you're the opposition ruck. Dixon did that. It falls to Smith. That's just clean. Look it up and find a picture of that. That's not so much. Just falls about a metre short of the intended target on the far side. Chased out by Cheeseman Dutton. Doesn't get a lot of the ball, but does a pretty good defensive job usually. Boundary throw in, 60 out from their goal, and the Tigers enjoy a lead established in that first quarter. 31-point gap. We've played 10 minutes in the second quarter thanks to Sportle and Han Ultra Zero Carb.
Okay, Anyang wins the tap out over the back now. All the players are fighting for the ball. It's still in the middle of the pack there. It's picked up by Wilson. He fights for it now, and it's going to be a ball up just inside the 50-metre area for Brighton.
Last time these two sides met at round 9, it was Broadview by 18 points. Boris only kicked 2 and Mullaron only kicked the single, and Mullaron's already got 3 and Boris with 2 already, not even at half time. So everything written on the whiteboard pre-game would have big green ticks against it so far, you'd imagine.
Oh, absolutely. Alex Day now kicking it back towards on the half-back line now. Another marker there by the Broadview player on the front side. Looks like Mulhara, a fair way down from his half-forward area. Looking to move the ball on now down that line now. Kicks it down towards the centre wing area. But Jackson Payne's going flying for the ball along with Nick Ferguson there by the looks of it. Comes out the back to the Brighton players, and Brighton booting it back forward inside of their forward. A bit of a push out there. The umpire's called a push in the back for the Brighton player there, and he'll line up from about 45 metres out on about a 45-degree angle.
And with Rivers starting back, you can understand it with the loss of Jarman to go as Jake Tarker comes for a rest, replaced by Curtis Perry. But by having him inside the forward 50, it just adds the other dimension for his key defender, knowing he's such a goal scorer, knowing he's such a threat, just to panic in those one-on-one situations. And McKinnon Collins has been pretty good for you this season.
Yes.
But on that occasion, just went a bit early. The ball wasn't within 5 metres. Umpire paid the free. Rivers looks like it might get the distance, but offline. He's had a couple of chances now. He's just warming up. He's put one to the right, one to the left. For Brighton's sake, you'd hope the next one goes straight through. That's Sportle and Han Ultra Zero scoreboard though. Tigers still have a 5-goal lead, and here is the goal scorer. He's got 3 all the way up at half-back. Campbell Mullaron. Oh, he's just measured it perfectly to Wilson.
Wilson, very nice. Comes in board to Anyang. Handball straight over the top. Didn't bad handball to Cooper O'Leary, but he managed to get hold of it. Daniel tackled straight away. Ball's under him, and the umpire's called a ball up there. Right, just onside the 50-metre line, directly in front.
Rivers again with a hard tackle there. He's certainly making his mark on this one.
Right, ball down from Anyang to Smith. Smith gets a kick up in the air. Parked by the Brighton player there, just on the attacking side of the centre circle.
That's a Bianco mark of the day, contender for sure. Inside Warner. Oh, beautiful. Thought he would have scored a goal in the Premier League with his knees just sliding along the turf, and we're right behind it here on the Filming Footy Call. He's already got one. Cast in the role of a forward. Usually plays the wing. Had to shuffle the magnets around, but he's a pretty good kick usually. I'm not sure if you see much of him.
No, but he'd be just inside. By the time he kicks it, it'll be just inside the 50 or just on the 50. He's on a 45-degree angle. From here, can be a difficult shot at times with the breeze and that, but he comes in now with the left leg.
Oh.
Got the left leg swinging beautifully. It's right on the line. The Brighton players are excited, and that's a goal to Brighton. Just waiting for the all clear. Yes, it is. It's a goal. So that takes Brighton along now to 4-4-28, trailing Broadview 8-4-52.
Just what the doctor ordered for the Bombers. So 14 minutes gone. Warner's got a couple. That experiment is working so far. Hasn't really had much of it, but when he has, He's kicked a couple of goals. Has Aaron Warner, a flyer off that wing, as I said, 17 games for South in the under-18 season at Glenunga, but at Brighton Junior, his 89th game for the Bombers this afternoon. So it just puts that margin back. Don't go anywhere, because the teams at the bottom half of the Div 1 table are known. Just have a quarter off here or there. Could this be Brighton's quarter? Nice clearance from O'Leary. Oh, he dismissed.
Marked there by Wilson on centre wing there, coming inboard now. Kicking board now in the direction of Smith. Smith goes up the front, doesn't quite get it, comes back down to Hill. Hill now 40 metres out, lines up. Looking good off the boot, and yes, the goal to the Tigers. They needed that after the last couple of goals to Brighton, so Broadview take it back out now to 9-4-58 to Brighton 4-4-24.
That's the second time he's done that, Hill. He kicked a goal in the 21st minute of that first quarter, just when Brighton missed one at the other end, and they went straight back down. And we talked him up, of course, in the first quarter, but he's played plenty of reserves footy at Sandford level and just knows how to bend a footy back the right way inside 50.
Yeah, now Broadview got their main on-ballers in the middle there now with Little, Smith, Jesse White in the ruck, and Danielle, so they got their A team in there at the centre bounce now.
And it looks like Brett Backwell has said to Ricky O'Loughlin, Johncock, you might be carrying an injury, but we need you where the footy is. So he's on ball now as well, but he just can't get his hands on that one. And how's the Locks just flowing? Takes on the tackle. He's driven into the turf in a pretty safe manner. Umpire calls play on. Tarka hanging off the back. Oh, we got the Bianco measuring tape out there, and Chalmers takes off. Route 1 footy. Warner waits at the back. This man is having himself a day. He's already got 2, and didn't he? He read that like a cheap novel.
Yes, he's almost kicking from directly the same spot, about 10 metres closer, so definitely the exact same spot, but 10 metres closer.
Muscle memory here, surely.
Well, this is sometimes where they can miss it from there, because they're a lot closer now. That he seems fairly confident, lining up now with that left foot again.
Yeah, he waited at the back, and this will bring the margin back to that 4 goals. Warner, you called it fantastically. Yeah. Hasn't even scored.
No, out of bounds on the full. Definitely would not have wanted that. So
Can I borrow your crystal ball, please, Rod?
If I had the crystal ball, I'd be a very happy man.
So no score. Scoreboard stays the same. Sporto and Hahn Ultra Zero Carb 9-4-4-4. Broadview lead by 30. Oh, very unlucky for the Bombers. Dixon was going to float back and at least make a contest. He slipped over, and before you know it, Smith on the outer side, and Broadview, I think they might be away.
Looks like Alex Day there on the far side, just looking down the ground now, looking at coming back in again, board, but ends up going down the line in the direction of Smith. Smith contestable, yes, good mark by Ethan Smith there.
That's a Bianco mark that A contender.
It swings down around on his right foot deep in the forward lines. Hill's out again on his own, about 45 metres out, about 45-degree angle inside the 50. Almost looks to play on, now going back and having another look at. No, he's decided now he's going to have a shot.
Yeah, he's already got a couple of goals. You'd probably back him from here, but what a turning point this might be. It's pretty much the exact same angle that Warner had that last shot to bring it back to 4 goals. It could be a classic 12-point swing here.
Yes. So now Hill lining up, now walking in now slowly. Seems fairly close, a little bit of a stutter step. Comes in now, kicks, falls off the boot. Gompire's made a bit of ground, and yes, it's offline for 1 point.
18 gone, 9-5-58. Could that be a handy behind? We'll find out in a couple of quarters' time. A better quarter for Brighton, has to be said. 2 goals each. Pretty much the same as it was at quarter time.
Let's get a dip inside for a second.
We'll take a look at some scores around the grounds for you at half time. If you're a Broadview fan, that Tea Gully result all important. Bang! Just booms it out of there. Got about 60 on it. Umpire involved, arms over the shoulder, and O'Loughlin Johncock mentioned it a few times coming into this game. Carrying a couple of knocks. Not able to compete. Rhodes sends it down the highway. Oh, it beat a couple of Bombers at the front. They're under pressure again. Perry can't get his hands on it. Ushers Murphy into the trenches. Comes out to Finn Bennett. the Victorian junior. Harvey, the kick's got too much on it for him. Warner, just, did he push him in the back? It looked like it. Umpire said nope, so we'll throw it in, out of side. Warner looked like he was on the purple track in Paris there. He was eating up the metres. Good pace. 1-on-1 ahead of the play here. As Broadview just push a couple of numbers off their direct opponent. Lachlan Johncock just ran underneath it. Clearance going the way of the Tigers as they roar back into action. Next goal for Brighton, and we've got ourselves a game. That's going to work. It had to, but it didn't. Counter-attack on advantage, and it's a 1-on-1. Can Loy do anything about it? He's got support coming back, and Loy kept a cool brow there. Needs a handkerchief to wipe the sweat off the brow, and he finds Murphy. That could have been deadly.
That could have been really bad for the Bombers there. But now they bring it back out onto the centre wing area.
Oh, here is Ricky. You can just tell he's just not quite 100% running under the flight of that ball, but he's going to give 100% to keep these Bombers in business. Perry, what's he got? 1-on-1, playing in front should be all McKinnon Collins. It is. He's been great. Broadview, this is Day on the wing. He's got acres of space, little on, but he goes for the inboard kick and he finds Hames.
Hames now turns around, handballs back to Little. Little with a handball. No, handball keeps it back inside now, kicks forward to Jesse White, 2-on-1. Ball doesn't come that way. Oh, picked up by the Brighton player, kicks it back, picked up by Mulholland. He kicks it high in the air, waiting for rain to come with that one. Then it's marked by Jack Fergus. Jack Fergus has wandered down from the back line into the forward line here.
That kick went as high as it did long, and there's really no excuse for those kind of kicks. You should at least make a bit of a contest and get a fist in, but I think I saw Fergus. He's got a few goals on the season, as I checked my stats here. He's got 4. But not a noted goal kicker, as you said, as Jesse White comes off for a well-earned rest.
The kick by Fergus looks fairly good. The players are happy in the goal squares. That's another goal of the Tigers. Fergus, when he came to the club, was a forward and
yes,
kicked quite a few bags of goals there. But they had 10 goals for the half of Broadview. They'd be extremely ecstatic with that. That's what Coach Fergus would have been wanting today. A good start there, 10 goals just before half-time, and holding the Bombers down to 6 goals. So now go for the 4 goals. So now goes down to a 37-point lead.
10-5, 65, 4-4, 28. The Sporter and Hahn Zero Carb scoreboard, and a minute and a half into time on. And as you said, Jack Fergus, 168 goals make that in his 152 games, and probably in my eyes, maybe best on. He's held the fort down back, and he's kicked a crucial goal there. He's been a very important player for you through his number of seasons. He's gone on. This is 9th season at Broadview. Another inside 50 and unmarked, uncontested. Brett Backwell will be pulling his hair out. And the Tigers look to bury the hatchet before half-time. Finds the chest of you-know-who.
Yeah, Johnny Boris here lining up for goal number 3. I think it is, from memory.
He's had a couple of pots on goal, but yep, you're right. Lining up for his 3rd. Directly in front, and the old record, you'd pretty much put this down before he kicks it.
That lines up now, coming now, kick off the boot. Goal umpire makes a little bit of distance, but no, he's actually missed it. He's dead in front, and he has missed.
Brighton fans, you can thank me for that commentator's curse there. He's missed a couple of pretty gettable shots for his talent. This margin could be a bit greater than it is, but as it is, it's a top. It's an 80-metre Malcolm Blight bomb down the middle of Brighton Oval as they look for the end-to-end goal, but Murphy was well held up and doing well on that side. Is that Fergus back there? Can't quite make him out. Middle of the ground, big 50-50.
Danielle gets the ball out there onto Yang Yang, not quite at his feet now, fighting for it all. Ball comes about loose again out for the Bombers. Strong tackle there, strong tackle, and he's caught holding the ball.
That's massive because they had to make that. Brighton had a spare man loose. It was Francis. Or it might have been Tarka all by himself inside 50. So excellent tackle on the outer side to win a free kick. We've played 23.5 minutes, so can't be much left in this first half.
Ball by Flanagan there up to the centre wing area. Goes out of the back, picked up by the Bombers, now coming back inboard. Tight tackle there. Still working it through the Bombers, down through the middle. The ball's quite nice. Intercepted by Cooper here. He's trying to get free with it, can't quite get it. Ball comes back out of the back to 2 loose Brighton players. They pick it up there, looking forward now.
Yeah, Higgins' kick. Mark and play on, and there's your beacon. And we were talking early, you kick it to him, and it just makes the defender panic. It's a couple of times now. McKinnon Collins has just gone the early contacts.
Yeah, he's got the early contact there in the contest there, and the Bombers player has made the most advantage of it. Almost the same spot as where the last couple of shots for goal were here. A slightly better angle, but about the same distance, about 35 metres out.
38-point lead. This is a must kick. We've been told under a minute and a half left in this opening half of this, winner take all Div 1 2025 spot. Well and truly on the line. Those reserves and C-grade boys trying to put him off down in the Broadview pocket.
Yes, a bit of noise down there.
Rivers.
And it seems to have done the job because he's missed it. And he's been well and truly told about it by the people in the pocket.
Well, they're their own worst enemy, really. And it's been the case for the Bombers. This stat surprised me. They've kicked more behinds than goals in 11 of their 17 games. And in a lot of those games, they've kicked actually double the amount of points than they have goals. So
that doesn't help.
If they go down, they've only got themselves to blame. Here's McKinnon Collins off half-back.
Right. Just on inside the 50 area now when he kicks it, coming up towards the centre wing area now. Manning sets himself. Great mark there by Manning in front of the pack.
That's a Bianco nomination, mark of the day. Thanks to Bianco.
Looking up forward now, just having a good look where he's going to put it to. Comes in now, kicks it further down the line in the area of Ferguson and Anyang. They set themselves with the Bombers player in front and takes an uncontested mark.
So Anyang did the body work well, but just forgot to go back at the footy. Allowed Murphy to sweep in and take it. Here goes route one down the guts.
Right in the arms of Stephen Jackson. They're just dead on centre wing there.
No idea what he saw here, but a late goal for Broadview. That would be a dagger for the Bombers.
Kicks it well up forward now into the area, but the pain's that, but a strong mark taken by the Bombers right on the last line of defence there.
Murphy, he's been holding the fort down there, but has he got enough blue tack to plug all the holes? I don't know. Here's the captain for the day, the 200 gamer, Scotty Nerlich. Perhaps held without it. Umpire said half a dozen of one, 6 of the other. O'Leary gets it. Last tackle of the half for Jack Francis. But boy, oh boy, in the battle for survival, it's pretty clear what team wanted it the most in that opening term. Yes, opening half, I should say.
And at half time, we have Broadview at 10-6-66 and Brighton at 4-5-29.
A big thank you to Rod George, the Broadview secretary, historian, delegate, past players, and maybe future commentator if you want to hang around. We can put you on the roster for next season. But enjoy the second half. Best of luck to the women, of course, in their grand final at St Mary's Park. That game will be on filming footy. It should have probably just kicked off as well, so you can flick between the games. But just what you would have wanted to see in that first half by the Broadview lads, for sure.
Oh, most definitely. It was definitely a great start by the Tigers. It's what we were looking for. 10 goals and a half of footy, you'll take that any week against any team. So, no, that's definitely a very, very good start for the Tigers, and they'll be going into half-time feeling very confident. Yes, the job's half done, but we've still got a half to go, and hopefully we continue on, and hopefully with a few other results going our way, we'll remain in Div 1 for season 2025.
Indeed, and just those results quickly before we break around the ground. Sacred Heart up against Prince Alfred Shock, up by 7. That one hasn't got too many ramifications on it. Rams leading Paynham by 9. Port District 35, St Peter's 17 at half time, and the one all Broadview fans care about. Yeah. Golden Grove 61, Tea Tree Gully 33. It's almost half time there, so looking good at half time, but in footy things can change very quickly. We'll have a break at half time here at Broadview. It's the Tigers in control. Welcome back to wherever you may be watching us in the Adelaide Footy League Filming Footy live stream. Thanks to our sponsors, of course, Sports Interactive, the Adelaide Footy League, Sportal and Hahn Ultra Zero Carb. How good? Filming Footy for all your stats. Dartfish, Farmers Leap, our best on ground, wins themselves some Archie Stongs. Elite comfort for your feet. Snag of the day, thanks to Jag Networks. 1 kilo of gourmet snags. And of course, our Coach of the Week, thanks to Farmers Leap Winery, Pat the Way, Player of the Year, Goal of the Week and Mark of the Week, brought to you by Born to Build and Bianco. All the winners on Between the Posts Tuesday night on the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page with, of course, Tommy Javor and friends. Here at Broadview, winner saves their season, saves their Div 1 status, and the loser drops to Div 2. Will swing around the grounds quickly, and the Rams lead Payneham by 10 points at half-time. Port Districts lead St Peters by 17 at half-time. And the one that all Broadview fans want to note, Golden Grove lead by 28 points at half-time. So if results stay as they are, it means Broadview will be playing Div 1 footy next season. In the other game, Sacred Heart by 7 points over Prince Alfred at half-time. Goal scorers. It's the first quarter. That's done it for Broadview. Smith with a goal in the first minute. Mulleron. Kick 3 to Campbell. Mulleron. Boras with a couple. Anyang and Hill with a couple. Fergus with a goal. And for the Bombers, Warner with 2. Perry and Murphy with singles each. The Bombers need a lift. We're underway. Third quarter. Jack Moore will be rejoined shortly by Rod George, the Broadview secretary. Really crucial 5 or 6 minutes in the seasons of both these two clubs now. It's inside 50 and Jackson gets absolutely gang tackled. Dragged down. 40 out. It's the right end of the ground for the Bombers. An early goal. Would be goal dust, but White wins it. Lachlan Johncock handballs to his own advantage. Higgins pumps it into a one-on-one. McKinnon Collins has the reach. Nice golden fist over the back. And he follows up with a solid tackle on Jack Francis, the former Goody Junior. Umpire, no nonsense, throws it up. Lachlan Johncock, the ball fell to him. Try getting a kick out of there. There's bodies everywhere. They're all punched inside that forward 20. Harvey waits out the back. Really nicely done on that outer wing by Hill. It was a 2-on-1 and he was able to break even ahead of Jack Plenty. And Shane Harvey was closing, so boundary throw in. Couple of minutes gone. Broadview over. Weather not really a factor. Slight zephyr of breeze wafting across the turf. Free kick going, advantage. Tarka, open goal. Is this the perfect start for the Bombers? You would have expected better. As we've got a streaker on the field, a small 2-year-old girl. Ushered off though, nothing to worry about. Little. That's a perfectly measured kick, and the free kick given away, it was to Manning. They're off, advantage paid. Inside 50 again, goal machine Johnny. Here he comes, this time he's hassled. Taken by Evans, but he got it off to Wanyang. Broadview go end to end! Let off the hook at one end, and they stick the dagger in at the other. Cho Wanyang. And beautiful work by Johnny Boris. For once he was well held up after collecting the footy. Anyang with the support, handball off, and perfect start for the Broadview Tigers in this third quarter. They move now to 11-6-72. Bombers 4-6-30. They need a hero in a hurry on that Sportal and Hahn Zero Carb scoreboard as Broadview Secretary Rod George rejoins me at the perfect time for yourself.
Yes, just the words just come through. The B grade girls have won the flag by 13 points.
Congratulations.
So it's the 50th senior premiership in the club, so we're very happy about that and hoping to add one more later this afternoon.
Yeah, that's senior women's grand final live now on Filming Footy. If you want to turn over there and come back and join us, a lot can happen in a quarter and a half, but being 7 goals up in the third quarter is pretty good. We see Jesse White just hobbled behind the play, so we'll keep a key eye on that. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like Anyang, he was approaching for the ruck contest, but he won't get there in time.
Kane Flanagan takes the ruck contest, gets a handball out the back towards Cooper O'Leary. Picked up by the Bombers player off hands, into the forward line here, a bit of fighting, grappling going on down there. Ball comes into line from 20 metres out front, and down the line, and yes, I think bounced it over the line for a goal, the Bombers, and that'll give them a little bit of heart, just get them back within that 6-goal area there.
Yeah, the umpire made us wait there. It looked from the angle that it might have bounced off the padding, but umpire in the elite position, and that's exactly what they needed to cancel out the Anyang goal to Jack Chalmers. His 17th club goal, 129th game. He's the most experienced player out there in terms of senior games, A-grade footy, of course. Scotty Nerlich playing his 200th senior game across A's and reserves for the Bombers. So cancel out that first minute goal for Cho Anyang. Good goal for Jackie Chalmers, the one club player, and we're back to a 6-goal margin.
Anyang takes the hit out in the centre. Danielle fighting for it. It comes off hands to Little. Little gets his boot on, but it's intercepted by the Bombers player. Fighting for it with Anyang. Could have been paid a free kick there for holding the man, but the umpires decided to have a ball up in just on the offensive, the attacking side of the centre circle for Brighton.
Little's come to play, hasn't he? The 5-time best and fairest, South in the Sandful. Harvey just tries to put his head down and red rag to a ball type stuff. Good umpiring. Let the play go. Ball wasn't pinned. It came out. Big collision. Higgins comes away with it. Chalmers having himself a moment. Tarka all the way up to this near side, right in front of our commentary position. He's got something he likes, but he overcooks it. It might work anyway for the Bombers. Little out the back, chain of handballs. Looks like Danielle cutting it off is Dixon, who plays on. Clear instruction at half-time, perhaps, just to get it moving. Little off half-back. Little chiselling effort finds O'Leary. And they're away through Daniele. One more kick and they might be out. Little in the middle finds Jackson and they're off on the outer side.
Up to the outer side now. Alex Day out there running afterwards on the balls. Onto it now. Handballs over to Hill. Hill dodges around one player. Gets around him again easily. Kicks forward inside of the 50. But overcooks the ball past the Broadview player there. Almost picked off there by the Broadview player coming back as the ball comes out of defence. Coming in now to the middle of the ground, an indiscriminate kick picked up by Danielle. He chips it back in line and he finds Jack Fergus about 55 metres out from goal. Fergus now looks back, looking forward, passes it off now to Jesse White, all on his own in the forward pocket there, easy mark.
And you know what made that? Jack Loy's kick. He came up to about 40 out to kick that one. He kicked it in the middle of about 3 Broadview players, then had to sprint 40 metres back, and he was never in that contest because as soon as he got back, the player was leading up with the footy.
Yeah. So Jesse White now comes in on a 45-degree angle, with about 35 metres out. Kicks off the boot now. Goal umpire's making a bit of distance, but no, he looks very happy there, the players. And that's another goal to Broadview. That takes him along to 12-6 now, to Brighton 5-6.
Jesse White, all the experience in the world. Need half an hour to read out that man's resume, but I'll try. Glenelg 2019 Premiership player and best and fairest in 57 games for Collingwood. Taken it to pick number 79 in the 06 draft for Sydney, playing 71 games, and Southport Junior.
A bit of a change here for the Tigers. Little's come off for a spell now, and Ethan Smith is back into the middle of the ground. With Chol Yang on the ruck. The umpire now comes and throws the ball up in the air. Yang and Dixon go for the ball. Picked up by Daniel. Beautifully read by Sam Danielle. Kicks it forward into the forward line here. Ben Manning on the lead. Couldn't quite get it. Picked up by now Hill. Hill watches around one player. Kicks it forward in. Smothered off the boot. Picked up by the Bombers player here. Gets around Hill. Takes a small little chip kick. Not 15. Oh, the umpire's paid it.
Umpire in a generous mood. This is Harvey. He got it from Murphy. So Brighton will be pretty happy to hear the whistle there. They're under immense pressure. Eyes on the footy all the way.
Strong
That's the Bianco mark of the day. That's Ethan Smith. He's off. And it's inside 50. Was he taken out? The whistle was in the mouth. Umpire said no, that one's going to be paid. Straight down in the back. Brighton got away with the first, but not with the second. What about Ethan Smith here on the wing?
Actually, there was Kane Flanagan
was it
there.
Flanagan?
Kane
Sorry,
Flanagan,
the 8 and the 8 looks very similar with the numbers there, but Flanagan.
Oh, the umpire's picked up something down here. It's a bit of a collision there. A Broadview player's gone down. Looks like who we got there? Johnny Boris has been taken down off the ball.
And the panic.
They've panicked there. Brighton when they're coming on a lead. Benny Manning was about to pass off, and they've taken Boris out of the play.
It's been a couple of times now. Loy, you saw roam up the ground. He was responsible for that last goal. That there, just trying to maybe push up the ground a bit further. Yeah. You can tell your troops to play more attacking, but they've got to do their job one-on-one, first of all.
Yeah. Boris now comes in lining up now. Comes in now for about 25 metres out. Chips at the ball. Goal umpire's made a bit of ground. And it's drifted off to the right there for another point.
2 goals, 3, I think I have that now for Johnny. So he could have had a couple of those were more or less. There was one tough one from the pocket. Another couple pretty much directly in front. This game could be out of sight. It might well be already. And that Sporto and Arns scoreboard. Broadview 79, Bombers 36. It's a long way back, 43 points. So Lachlan Johncock and boundary throw-in.
Ball out of bounds on the Broadview side of the centre wing there, just about 10 metres in from the centre wing area. So the pack are looking to set themselves here. It looks like Anyang is now running in for the ruck, setting himself. Oh, there's a blood rule here. The umpire's called a blood rule on Kane Flanagan. Looks like a bit of a bleed from the mouth there.
I think that blood might have been because he got so high on that last big mark. He has a nosebleed for getting that high. But some good umpiring waiting for the player to come on, and the boundary umpire will stretch those muscles out.
Yeah. The ball's up in the air. Anyang takes it cleanly out of the air. Doesn't quite get his hands on it though. Comes down to the Bombers players. They kick it forward in the air.
Francis there. Warner waits at the back. Just couldn't quite get to the front of the pack there, and Perry waits for it. Never quite came his way. O'Leary trying to battle it, trying to tap it, trying to make the Sharon behave. I think we've learnt by now you can't tame that footy. Anyang just picks it up and says, "That's my ball." Ethan Smith, professional.
Yeah, dumped when did not have the ball there.
He had the footy and he just let it go, knowing the tackle was coming. That's really smart from Smith.
So he's about on about 50, the player standing mark is right on the 50-metre line, so we just out of his reach here. So looking forward now, looking for a lead, kicking it right to the teeth of the goal square area. The pack set themselves up there, comes off hands, picked up by the Bombers players here. They're bringing it back out, kicking it back out to the defensive side, out towards the boundary line over there. It's gone out of bounds, and it is a free kick by the looks of it to the Tigers. Yes, it is.
Last possession from Finn Bennett's boot. He was looking for Sheffield. Just forgot to fire the Jets up. Couldn't match it, and he's seen something in the pocket, and that's slack marking again from the Bombers. Is that
Mulholland out there again? Campbell Mulholland.
No, they're on it is too. He's already got three first quarter goals, in fact.
Lining up here, he'd be approximately about 35 metres out on a very sharp angle here.
If he kicks this, it might just be the Tigers' day. I haven't gone too soon, but tough angle.
As Mulholland comes in to kick there, the hole's high in the air, and it's off the line for a point. While that was on, Jesse White's come off the ground, and Jack Fergus has come back on for the Tigers.
Yep, switch back on for Brighton as well. The captain, 200 games today, Scotty Nerlich, and Curtis Perry comes for a break. So next goal needs to come for the yellow and black, and it's the yellow and black of the Bombers. There's Nerlich, fresh on, goes up. That's a Bianco mark of the day contender.
Good strong mark there by Nerlich in front of Fergus there.
Definitely, especially when you've got that man breathing down your neck. You know he's going to
earn
swing a fist over the ear. The old ear massage. There's Nerlich's kick. Up towards, it's a Broadview party down there. Well, should have marked it. Looked like he did.
Should have been paid there. Had 4 or 5 bites at the cherry there. That hammer. It's Ralph Smith there, but didn't quite get it.
To be fair, he probably should have clunked it first time. So maybe learn from that. Clearance the way of the Tigers. That dance, Sharon, you can't get it to go your way. And the Tigers are hunting in packs. They wrap up plenty.
Yeah, 3 on there around the ball there. Yang comes back in again for the contest. Lachlan gets the tap out. indiscriminate ball now. Strong tackle there by Fergus, doesn't quite get it anywhere. Call comes back indoors now to Jackson. Jackson's immediately south. Oh, looked like a bit of a high tackle.
Yeah, Higgins definitely got him high umpire on the wrong side. I think we'll forgive him for that one, maybe.
Yes. Umpire balls it straight up in the air, picked up by Yang Yang, straight down Daniel, gets the kick straight up in the air. Contest there. And the Brighton player easily takes the mark.
Yeah, we're seeing some Bianco Mark of the Week contenders. See all those in between the posts. Tuesday night, Adelaide Footy League Facebook page. Another one, Tarka, in the midst of Tigers. It was like he was in the canopy of a rainforest there. There's Dixon, bodywork early, but he got none of the footy. Pushed his own man out. Looked like a throw, but Brighton...
Looked like an underhanded throw in the air there.
A little bit of a scoop pass. Finn Bennett couldn't take full advantage. And they pushed their score along, though, only in the minor category. And the Tigers, as we've played over 13.5 minutes, still hold a 43-point lead.
Ball's in the back pocket with Hammer at the moment now. Here's a little chip forward to Nick Little. Nick Little about just inside the 50 area there.
Yeah, we've got Flanagan on again. He's in the 11 now. He's cleaned himself up.
Short pass out to McKinnon Collins now. The Tigers just settling down a bit now, just having a look around and not rushing the ball out of the defensive area. Brighton have manned up most of the players one-on-one, so looks like kicking it down the line, which he does. In the area of Anyang. Anyang gone. Yes, strong mark by Anyang there.
Yeah, he's been good today.
Definitely had the better of his Brighton opponents today.
Saw him pre-game in the rooms, and I went to ask for some team info, and he was laser focused, didn't even notice me there. So he's really putting on a tough show, and so is this man Hames. He's been great. Not part of the regular senior lineup, but he's in for his 4th senior game. He's putting his body on the line. Harvey, all right, Brighton.
He
needed to press the go button, but Jackson cut it off.
Picked it up on Mulholland, inside the 50. Gone for holding the ball. Took that a little too long to try and kick around the body and got cleaned up.
Yeah, didn't have the rear vision mirror on. It looked slightly like it was a bump rather than a tackle, but the pressure from the Brighton player definitely deserved to be rewarded, and the umpire did. That would have been a killer goal because they had overlap on as Brighton make some wholesale changes, and that would have made things very interesting. But that contest in the middle of the ground, Harvey, it was open. It's just those little milliseconds that cost you. Jackson's kick is well smothered. Kicked into it, it bounces the way of Tarka. He's been best on midfield up forward, but he hasn't used it too well. He's had plenty of the footy. Chalmers, Brighton need a goal. Leads on. Must mark, does mark. Will Rivers.
Yes, led Rivers there easily. McKinnon Collins to the ball there. Caught about 4 or 5 steps behind him there, and once he got the Jets on out in front, it was an easy mark for Rivers there.
If they can get it on quickly, he's definitely got the better of McKinnon Collins. So from the games I've seen, has been a shining light for Broadview. McKinnon Collins, very versatile.
You're more used to standing the taller opponent who doesn't move around as much as Rivers will run him around a bit today. So Rivers now comes in.
All the fitness in the world, doesn't he?
The ball is swinging back and it looks good off the boot here, and it's snuck in for a goal. So that takes Brighton now along to 6-7-43 to Broadview 12-8.
Yeah, he's learned from a couple of earlier misses, has Rivers. He's pushed him out to the right-hand side a couple of times, and that one just knew what he had to do, and they're still in the fight. The Bombers, they have a habit of coming late. I was at a game this season, the draw against Port District. They were all but cooked, kicked 3 of the last 4 goals, including 2 in the last minute to draw that match. And the talent for the Bombers is certainly out there, so Broadview don't want to take the foot off the pedal just yet.
Absolutely not. They're still a very talented side there, Brighton. But it's picked up by Alex Day in the middle there, on to Jackson. Jackson kicks it down the line in the front direction of Boris. Boris is fighting heavily there. Ball spills 3, and he's been pinged for holding the ball.
That's a couple of one-on-one now that Justin Evans has been moved over to Boris, has done pretty well in winning and holding the ball there, and some body contact. Murphy, he's been arguably at best up there with Tarka in terms of posies. Goes back in, lays a strong tackle. He might get rewarded. Umpire says no prior. Rightly so. Ball up.
Ball up on there on the outer centre wing there, and it was like Yang strolling in now for the ruck contest now. Umpire throws it in the air, and Yang back manages to get the fist on the ball. It's called shepherding, and it looks like it's gone against him.
Yeah, so free kick will go the way. They've just pushed Book in there more. in this second half and late in that second quarter. The Brighton junior, senior debut in round 1 for Book. He's held his position well. Dixon makes a contest, wins it all the way to the ground. Brighton looking for 2 in a row. One thing they haven't done all year. Cho Anyang, he's got the size, but he has the pace. Smith looked like he was half-legged. Anyang goes back in for it, and when Cho Anyang tackles you, you're not getting out of that.
Very, very strong tackle there, right in the middle of the ground. Brighton could have been away there. They had the players on the outside ready for the outside handball, but Anyang was able to hold them up now.
So, Book punched this time by Book down to Francis. If they can get 2 in a row, it might become 3. Bull loose in the tackle, but Broadview not panicking. Sells the candy.
Kick there by Flanagan, now out onto the outer wing, is picked up by Hill. Hill looking around for options up forward. Big long kick into the forward line now. Boris one-on-one, pushed, thrown out of the way. And no, the umpire did not pay the free kick there to Boris. So.
There's plenty. It did look like the ball wasn't quite within the 5 metres required. Umpire might want a close finish, you never know, no. Definitely does. Next umpire, myself, Mr. Colin Rouston, umpire manager, if you're listening. They've done a fantastic job. Meanwhile, Tarka, he got it from plenty. Brighton, they got Warner at the back if they can just get it over this first contest. Lachlan Johncock, has he got some lightning in those legs? No, it's all lactic acid, unfortunately. There's Anyang, he makes little just work for it. Brighton, they've had half chances, they just can't take them.
Okay, pick taken by Smith on the outer wing, gets the handball on the back on the out there. Picked up by Stephen Jackson. Jackson now with the big long left leg. Kicks it deep into the forward line. One-on-one contest there. Brighton player in front, and he's been paid for holding the man.
That's Plenty who was held down there.
Seems to have the number on Boris at the moment.
It's been a good move, and there might be... it's downfield, so it would have been 25, but the kick went probably 25.2 metres. Murphy has been, I think, pretty clearly best on with his ball use for the Bombers. They chop off that 45, Smith. If he didn't cut his fingernails last night, he would have got that. Into the middle of the ground. Now they really need this next goal. Cheeseman Dutton. Margin stands at 6. Looks pretty comfortable for the Tigers, but pressure can do funny things. Harvey just finds something he likes. Contest needed. Rivers provided it. Off the back, Bennett. All the way to the back, Tarka might shepherd it through. Wrong side of the post again for the Bombers.
Yeah, Kane Flanagan there managed to get a hand on it and just direct it to the other side of the post there.
He's had a couple of really important, that mark in front of us early quarter and that shepherd there, really important. So Sport and Hans scoreboard, 12-8-80, Bombers 6-8-44, a margin of 36 points. The Tigers are off and roaring again.
Easy Smith comes through the middle onto Ben Manning. Ben Manning kicks it down forward into the area. Mulholland looks at it. He's been paid the free for shepherding. He's been paid the free here. Brighton player didn't have his eyes on the ball.
Just watching the Dartfish replay, spot on. Cheeseman Dutton, as you called, had his back towards the umpire, had his eyes locked on Mohair on you, and made contact. And if you make contact, you've at least got to try to look like you're going back for the footy. 3-on-1 there as well. Another example of just not needing to do it.
And not being fully aware of where the ball was. Mulholland comes in to kick. Got a little bit under the ball here, but it looks offline just for a point. Broadview made a bit of a switch up in the forward line here. Boris has come off the ground, and we now have both Fergus and White up in the forward 50. So a bit of a change here for the Tigers. Trying to change it up a bit and put a bit of a taller player down there in the full forward area.
Very intriguing. Bit of a defensive forward type setup. Try to hang on to this lead. It's a pretty good one. 12-9-81, 6-8-44. 37 points from the Sporto and Hahn Zero Carb scoreboard. Under 3 minutes to play.
2 goals apiece each this quarter.
It's been an arm wrestle, hasn't it?
A bit of an arm wrestle. So no team. One side looks like they're going to get Broadview. Look like a couple of times they're going to break the game wide open, then Brighton pull it back again, and so it's definitely in that arm wrestle stage at the moment. Whichever one can break the lock first.
And if they can get a goal, you'd say that they would obviously take that. Well, Matt Burgess would, but the key thing is just to lock it down and make sure they don't concede anymore. Murphy, he could have attacked that. He sat back and said, "You guys do it," and they looked at him and said, "You go get it." And so he did. The kick out of defence, well defended, made a contest. Manning, here's Ricky. He's got a few moments of magic left. Lloyd needs to handball it. He did. Umpire was right there. Saw the handball. Danielle picks it up. Oh, can he go back for seconds? No, it was a great contest from Higgins, and it's out of danger, but only momentarily.
Hams takes handballs over to Little. Little sets up now, kicks it deep into the forward line. He's got an option of 2 here, and it's Ben Manning takes the mark. About 40 metres out on a slight angle, about a 25-degree angle. Has looked into his options now, thought about the pass off to Fergus, and Cooper O'Leary running there into the pocket. But he's now decided he's going to go back and see if he can make the distance.
17th game, 4 goals on the season, played some footy for North in the under-18s, and Rupina at Waiella, where he was named in the best every single game he played up there.
Yeah. So, it comes in now, needs a little bit of left to right here. He's given it plenty of left, and it's but not enough, and the umpire has made the little gallop over to the side again, and it's 1 point offline.
It doesn't feel like there's much of a breeze, but there definitely is, just that light zephyr pushing towards us.
There's enough of a breeze out there. The one thing that is very different this year, because obviously that end of the ground was very sheltered with the old building there. Now that it's very open, you will have the breeze which will swing across there. So something a little bit different down there.
That's a very good point. We're privileged to be joined by Rod George, Broadview Secretary. We're under a minute and a half, and just to calm it down, mark taken by the captain Ferguson. He was almost best on ground last week and the week prior as well. Always leads from the front. Big marking contest. Goal here would be the knife to stick in Brighton season. They might be done if they can get it on the board here. The Tigers. Anyang off the back. Oh, he was run off at Higgins. Hill was the one, and this time it's not going to score at all. So under a minute to go. Let's check that Hahn Ultra Zero Carb scoreboard. 12, 10, 82, 6, 8, 44. It's a 38-point margin. Plenty for Brighton to do with under a minute and a half gone in this third quarter. Dixon was the short. He ignores him, and that's going to sit on Nerlick's head. Good luck marking that. And hasn't Nick Ferguson been such a great leader for this team?
Oh, been a very great leader. Obviously, they were selected as co-captain this year with Jay O'Leary, with Jay obviously been out of the pros, but had the shoulder load a lot of the year. Nick was out injured for quite a while, and Johnny Boris as the captain as well, so it's been a bit of a revolving door at times.
I was going to say only his 10th game today. His resume, of course, he plays some footy at South Adelaide, Christie's Beach, Ironbank, South Waiella, Balaclava, Sejuna, and also an Adelaide Plains Footy League rep player. So, I mean, all that quality, and sometimes he might not get much of the footy, but it's the role he plays against the opposition forward.
So Jackson Smith gets his hand on the ball, they're down to the front, picked up by Anyang, dropped now by, picked up by a Brighton player going forward now. Goal, strong tackle there by the Broadview player, grabbing the ball and tackled by the Brighton player about 45 metres out, directly in front of goal.
Yeah, you might see a yellow card in rugby league there for tackling in the air, but well done Rivers. He laid the strong tackle and just put him down nicely. It's been a great adjustment at all levels to see the tackling techniques being practised and changed. On the outer side, we're less than a minute left. Warner, that's a strong tackle. He's been up there in Brighton. Less than a minute, should have said less than a few seconds. It was an arm wrestle that quarter. Matty Burgess will take that, and it will take much of the same in the fourth quarter. But a pretty good quarter for Broadview. Let's recap those goal scorers for you. Chalmers in the 4th minute. Anyang got us started. White in the 8th minute. Rivers in the 16th minute. And for the final 10 minutes of that quarter, it was back and forth. Plenty of chances at both ends of the ground, but with a quarter left, Broadview are where they want to be.
Yes, we'd be very happy at the moment. A 6-goal lead at 3/4 time, quarter to go. The job's 3/4 of the way they're done now. So one last quarter for each of the coaches in their last game for their respective clubs. So
indeed,
Matt Burgess will be looking for a bit more from Broadview to really just finish off and just really put the foot on the throat. And Brett Backwell will be looking for his guys to just show some in the last quarter. Even though it looks like they're on the losing end of today, but to be able to show that yes, there is some still fight in the Brighton Bombers.
And it's a credit to Broadview as well. I looked up their wins, their losses on the Brighton side of things. 5 of their wins, I should say, have come against the bottom 4 sides. Whereas for Broadview, you've beaten Prince Alfred a couple of times, Spock as well, but you have beaten Golden Grove, you've run Payneham close, you've run Port close, you've run Shot close. So based on the quality of the season, from an unbiased perspective, you'd say Broadview are the higher side in terms of the quality and the ability to perform and compete in Div 1?
It's been a case of 10 minutes of footy here, 10 minutes in one quarter, 10 minutes in the next quarter. It's been about overall, it's been a quarter of a game where it just hasn't gone our way. But it's those 10 minutes in each of those quarters where a side has got to run on. And I think several weeks ago when we had Glenunga out here, we were 7 points down with about just on 2 minutes to go to half time. They kicked 2 quick goals right on half time. Then they kicked 2 quick goals straight after half time. So it went from a 7-point deficit out to a 31-point deficit in a matter of 4 minutes.
Indeed.
And then all of a sudden that just absolutely destroys the confidence of players.
It can happen so fast, can't it?
And you think you've done everything you possibly can, and you've got the top undefeated side on toast, and all of a sudden the wheels just fall off the wagon.
It's been a pleasure to have Rod George, Broadview Secretary, Historian and Delegate of the Past Players. Hang around for the fourth quarter if you like, Rod. We'll take a short break. After this we'll come back with update scores from around the ground on this big final round in Div 1 footy. But it looks like with a quarter left, Broadview have a foot, a hand, pretty much all their body in Div 1 next season. They lead Brighton by 38 points. Welcome back to the final quarter of season 2024, the regular season for these two sides. Both, unfortunately for them, won't be in finals, but for one, they will be in Division 2 next season, and currently it looks like it'll be the Bombers. The final quarter, of course, for Brett Backwell, and the final quarter for Broadview coach Matty Burgess. So, which one will be happy at the end of the next 30 minutes? It looks like it'll be
something's going on
Broadview.
down here.
Yeah, the umpires are waiting and communicating to see if they've got
On the head there.
another number there, or some kind of blood rule, or patch himself up and equalise the numbers. It's the last thing Brighton need to be one down in the start of the fourth quarter. Jack Moore on Filming Footy, joined by the Broadview Secretary Rod George as we throw it up and away we go. Anyang and Dixon. Start of the game as they started the fourth quarter. O'Leary, he probably could have gone with the hands. Murphy. Tell you what, opening goal here for Broadview. It might be a bit of a party in the fourth. Murphy just got a fingertip to it, and a toenail. O'Leary, let the party begin!
Yes, great goal there by O'Leary there. Read the ball off the pack, slammed it onto the boot from about 40 metres out, and went right through them, high diddle for a goal.
You can tell his brother, he's the better O'Leary. He pumps the heart, he pumps the chest. It must mean a lot, of course, the O'Leary's been Broadview juniors, and it must mean a lot.
Yes, very excited. Both the boys, very talented family, and they were very fortunate to have the players of the calibre of that playing for the Broadview Football Club.
Just runs that wing up and down all day. I tell you what, him and probably Nick McGill from Spock are just those wingers who just run their opposition number off their feet and manned up on Higgins now and just trying to stop him, but it's very hard. Little and the damn wall. It's been cracking all day, and that goal might have just made it burst on the Sport to Enhance scoreboard. A 44-point, double their score margin now for the Tigers. And tell you what, champagne on ice, Broadview fans. It might be a rare day of all wins, no losses. The women in action right now in the grand final on Filming Footy. He's still got a kick, and this man O'Leary, right place, right time. This one's going to go inside forward 50 and hopefully for their sake bring some more delight for the Tigers.
Yeah, very aggressive, the Tigers looking at the moment since three-quarter time. The ball's up in the forward-line area there. Ball's come off tack, picked up by the Brighton players, and a mark right on the 50-metre line there for the Bombers.
Now it's Higgins there.
Looking further downfield now. Hammer and Dixon here. And they've got to be the man in front. They've got to. Oh no, he's paid it the man at the back, Dixon. Oh,
yeah, I thought it might have been man in front. Ralph said himself, and you usually get the benefit of the doubt there.
Yeah. Bit of an up and under kick high into the centre half forward area. Flanagan comes through with a big fist.
Nice golden fist.
Bounces back though towards the Brighton player. Lines it, kicks it in forward now to all on his own down there. The Bombers player inside the 50. Plays on now. Has a quick look. Another Brighton player standing on his own just outside the goal square.
Yeah, there's Warner there. He's been the only one with the sharp spear inside 50. All the rest of it has been pretty blunt, and he plays on to find Rivers, and I guess all that's left now for Rivers with 32 goals on the season is to pop himself in the top 5 of league goal scoring. He'll line up on a pretty non-existent angle from about 25 out.
Comes in now, stabs at the ball, and it's right through the middle to take Brighton on to 7 goals, 8-50 to Broadview 13-10.
So we're back as we were at three-quarter time. Let's have a look at that clock. 3 minutes gone, 6 goals. Plenty of time. Obviously, Brighton are going to have to keep Broadview scoreless and bang on 7 of their own. But Will Rivers has been quite a shining light for them this season. That'll be his 33rd goal. Around the grounds, quickly, we forgot to bring those scores to you at three-quarter time. Golden Grove lead Teachery Gully by 39 points. Port District, I'll get a score on that for you shortly. Glenunga 41-31, that was at half time. I'll just update these scores and we'll get back to it in the meantime. So it looks like Port up by a goal against Spock. Spock, the late season specialists, aren't they? Rams by 40 against Payneham, and the Prince Alfred score looks like Sacred Heart are taking care of business. So for Broadview fans, it's all coming up Tigers so far, but have the Bombers got one last trick up their sleeve? The 200 gamer, the spiritual leader Francis, the big fist coming in at the back.
McKinnon Collins there.
That is inspiration for the Tigers as they sweep it out of their defensive 50.
Okay, ball's up on the half, onto the wing area. Mark taken by Hill, but not quite. Plays on now. The ball goes back in towards the Brighton forward line area. There's a 2-on-1 battle for the Tigers there. Flanagan now fighting for the ball. Tackles the Brighton player, and obviously not in possession of the ball. And it'll be a free kick for Brighton and about 35 metres out on a slight angle.
Yeah, Rivers certainly hasn't given up yet. Another goal here. It'll be 2 in a couple of minutes for Rivers, and it will cut the margin.
Back to 5 goals, and
Indeed.
all of a sudden the door opens a little bit there, and a bit of doubt will start to creep into the mind of a few Broadview players.
They haven't kicked 2 in a row all day, and we were chatting off air at three-quarter time when other teams just get a couple of goals in a row. It just plays with your psyche a bit.
Yes, most definitely, especially when you've got a lot on the line and in the last quarter as well.
And a big lead. So Rivers for 2 in a couple of minutes. He pushes that door just ever so little ajar. And their Bombers, or their heads aren't dropping yet. There's a contingent in the pocket here at Broadview Oval. Season on the line. They've given Broadview a 80-metre head start in the 100-metre sprint, but they're trying to reel them back in on the Sport to Enhance scoreboard. 13-10, 88, 8-8, 56, 32 points, only 5.5 minutes gone. There's still plenty of time.
Okay, the Broadview ringing the changes around here at the moment. So Jesse White's back into the middle of the ground. with Ethan Smith, Stephen Jackson and Sam Danielle, so the starting 4 right in the middle of the game.
That's Rivers' third of the day, by the way.
Jesse White easily gets the tap out there. It's picked up by Ethan Smith, kicks the long ball into the forward area. Haynes sets himself, just over the fingertips of him. Didn't quite go, picked up by the Bombers. Oh, he's taken on the tackler. Managed to get a hand on. No, the umpire has paid holding the ball.
Yeah, big trouble.
Yeah. Free kick is going to Ben Manning by the looks of it.
Plenty picked it up and, he lived up to his name. He had plenty to do and he looked to bust through the tackle. And you can see the umpire. The umpire did give him an extra few seconds, but he could have just dropped the footy on the boot earlier than he did, and it's a pretty good umpiring decision in my book. Here's Manning.
And Manning, okay, he'll be kicking from just on about 45
to settle some nerves, the Tigers here.
Settle the nerves, yes. He'll be just in his range here, just to close. Try and put that door closed again. Comes in now, kicks. Big kick off the boot, but it's just slightly offline. The Pack set themselves. There's a mark right there on the line. There's a mark on the line down there. And it looks like it's Campbell
Mulholland, yes.
Yes. So it looks like will he go for the Stevie J kick again? Looks like he's lining up that way.
The snaps these days are like shelling peas for most players, aren't they?
Settles himself down and having a bit of a think about it. Runs right now, kicks it. And yes, he's got it. The margin's back out again. Margin is back out again to 6 goals. They'll just settle the Tigers down. Puts them back to 14 goals 10 to once the goal, the scoreboard's out of the way. 8 goals 8. So 6 goals 2, 38 points. So looking good now, the Tigers.
As we were at 3/4 time again, yeah. So we've played 7.5. And just the settler, just in case there was a few nerves. It all started out of the middle with Ethan Smith's clearance. He's been one, even though you lost the game at Spock a couple of weeks ago, who, when you need a clearance, when you need a strong possession and a kick, he's been the one that's provided it more times than not. Right on cue, there he is.
Big kick by Stephen Jackson into the forward line. It's 1-on-1. Cool, could have been a bit of a free kick there. Yang Yang fighting 2-on-1 now. The ball going deep into the pocket. Still there. Mulholland fighting for it hard. Picked up by the Brighton play. Handballs in. That ball to his teammate now. Coming back out of the fence. And it's over the line. Looks like it's a free kick here to the Broadview play. Yes, it is.
Yeah, well done by the ground umpire. Got cleaned up there, but he still got up and made the call.
Last possession. That's Stephen Jackson now. Big kick right into the forward line area. Yang Yang setting himself. And it's Mulholland again.
From the side.
From the side. Big mark by Mulholland here.
I tell you what, Harry Potter lent him the invisibility cloak because nobody saw him coming. Anyang did the body work. You thought he was going to take it. Haynes was in there. He's coming up for goal number 5. This will mark, he's already brought up 20 goals for the season. What a find he's been.
On a 45-degree angle here now. He's walking in slowly now, just taking his time. Just coming to the top of the mark area now. Kicks at it. Oh, no, he's just pushed it across, stabbed at the ball, didn't kick through it. And that's a bad let-off for the Tigers. That really could have started to really shut that door on the Brighton. Any chance of them getting back into this game.
Could have popped that champagne there. 14-11-95, 8-8-56 on the Sporto and Hahn 0 carb scoreboard. 9 minutes gone. Quarters have been roughly about 26 minutes today, so 17 minutes of real game time. If Brighton had to have any chance, they didn't need that. Jesse White to pick it up, boom it in. Haynes sets himself. He's been threatening to do that all afternoon, the young man.
Yes, he's had several chances with it. They just quite haven't stuck in the fingers today, but now he's taken a big, strong pack mark directly in front at about 30 metres out.
Can you tell us much about, I know he's played for Woodville South and Peak in the Mallee Football League as well.
He came to the club this year looking for a chance to play higher, and we've been very, very surprised with him. He started off in the B grade and has really displayed himself at times here really well, very confident with the ball. Love the long flowing hair when running around out there. So now directly in front now comes walking in.
Here he comes, Jackson Haynes.
Ball's on the boot, kicks through. Oh, yes, he's got it. And the Tigers are really now starting to shut the door on Brighton.
With the long flowing hair, I think the champagne can start to flow now. It might be an afternoon of celebration for the Tigers. And if you want to check that women's grand final as well, Broadview's women are in that. That's live now on Filming Footy, and they kick away here in the 4th quarter. Brighton threatened ever so slightly, but 15-12, 102, 8-8-56. That's now a lead of 46 points, 10.5 gone. 2025, Div 1 footy, the Tigers will be there, I dare say.
I think we'd be fairly confident now saying yes, we'll be in Div 1 for next year. So, the ball picked up, Leary reads the big punch off hands, kicks it down the line into the middle of the ground now where Hill takes a strong mark. Held up a little bit there. Has a look now, plays on quickly. Oh, the umpire's calling it back.
Yeah, he's not happy with the...
Not happy there.
With his line, trying to push him a little bit across.
He easily found Manning there on his own, so now having to reset and think about so Brighton have flooded the forward lines here. Ball coming in there. Boris has got the lead. Absolutely crunched, and yes, free kick played to Boris there. 3-on-1 and just cannoned into the back of him. Propped himself nicely there. The ball was going to go over his head and was cannoned into.
How many times have we called that? They've had the 2-on-1, they've had the 3-on-1, and either they're just not talking or they just make a decision that I'm responsible for this person, this player, and it's been Johnny Boris on a number of occasions. He really should have 5 to his name, but as it is coming in to consolidate the goal-kicking title in Div 1 footy.
Yes, you need this. Not quite sure what's happening up with the Teacher Gully guy, Brody Latham. But now Boris comes in now. Kick off the boot. It's looking good. Didn't make the
Back
distance.
into play.
Short. Caught everybody off surprise. Didn't quite make the distance. Dropped right on the line. So the ball's back out under the centre square. Brighton fighting hard for it there. It's picked up by Danielle. He's decided he wants to join the party. Kicks it forward in line in the area. Boris has actually tackled around the neck. Absolutely slung to the ground. And he gets another chance to add to his goal-kicking tally.
I think the fatigue has set in the legs of the Bombers. They psychologically know this one's probably done, and their season's done, unfortunately, for them. As we mentioned in the pre-game, ravaged by injuries. 13 first-choice players unavailable to them today. And Broadview have about 5 or 6, but they've got this man, Johnny Boras. 39 goals coming into this. The goal machine, he eats them for breakfast.
Oh, terrible kick. Absolutely sliced it on the outside of the boot and barely scraped in for a point.
Single-handedly keeping the Bombers in this, but his teammates might have shut the door on them already. But Sporto and Ultra Zero Carb scoreboard, the Tigers still have a 47-point lead. Here's Tarker. He can hold his head high. Roams the ground. And it's now we start to think for some of these Brighton players, will they be there in 2025? Will they not? It comes around. We know the coach won't be his final game. Umpire decides to get dived on it.
Yep.
It's all coming up Broadview.
Yeah, pulled the ball back under him there and made no effort to knock it out. So free kick to the captain, Nick Ferguson here, just on the defensive side of centre wing.
And just to make sure your nerves are calmed, Golden Grove still have a 40-point lead over Tea Tree Gully, so Broadview will pump it inside 50. Can they add a little bit of cream? Not just yet. On the near side, Higgins is on for the uncontested mark, but going through the motions, Nick Little's come back at a perfect time. Hames, he might have the snag of the day locked up.
Oh, but
and he sells Candy twice!
2 lots of candy at the ball. Boris has got it.
I thought the candy store was closed on a Saturday!
Beautiful moves there by Hames. Sold it twice to the Brighton players. Left him flat-footed, then whirled onto his right foot and found Boris on a long lead.
You can tell he's got a bit of confidence just by looking at him, but not only does he look like it, he can walk the talk, or he can walk the look, I should say, more accurately.
He's drifted him down onto the line.
Big Johnny B, Rod George, Broadview secretary. I'll let you call this one through.
Johnny Boris now lines up, comes in now, kicks underway. Goal umpires. Oh, he's missed again. He's had a dirty day in front of goal.
I'm trying to give you a moment, Rod. Johnny's not cooperating, unfortunately.
It's about 2 goals 5 for the day now, so can't quite get the goal kicking boots on today.
Yeah, he dominated Spock a couple of weeks ago in that loss. He was left a bit on the table, and they're resorting to the old barrel.
Bit of licence now for the Brighton players in this last quarter when kicking out from behind. Going the barrel every time.
The old Cabernet Merlot in the barrel, and it's at half forward. Rivers
Nothing in front of him, absolutely nothing in front of him. And it's ball's in the air, down there, picked up by a teammate, gets the ball out to Ben Manning, a little bit high, tackled high, the ball goes to ground, umpires decide to have a ball up.
What about Broadview though? Just, I mean, they know they've got the game won, but pushing back, that sort of sweeping end to end, Brighton should have had the numbers, but it was Broadview with a 3-on-1.
Umpires paid a free kick here. It looks like it's a push out against Jesse White, and it's a free kick to the Brighton player.
Jesse just trying to stamp his name on this one. He's been pretty good.
It's about 40 metres out, almost directly in front, and Brighton definitely need this. Lining up now. Brighton player comes in.
This is Sheffield.
Sheffield kicks it. It looks good. So there we have the big turnaround play. 2 easy opportunities missed by Broadview at the other end. Goes down the other end, and Sheffield kicks the easy goal from about 40 metres out.
Mr. Sheffield, there he is, yes, Mr. Sheffield, Lockie Sheffield I should say, searching for his name there. Made his senior debut round 9 this year and 116 games for Henley. So, equation is this for the Bombers, 16.5 minutes gone, 7 minutes of game time, 7 goals. That easy.
As Lee Matthews said, a goal a minute will do it.
Goal a minute, but of course 7 minutes of real game time, so probably only about 5 or so left. Anyang, he's held his head high, he's in the votes for me, and so is this man, O'Leary. You could probably put half the Broadview team in the votes this afternoon.
Oh, most definitely. You look at Little, Smith, Ferguson's had a good game, Anyang himself.
And coming into this one, on paper, they look like the favourites, but in a do-or-die battle, you play the game on grass, and sometimes it just doesn't go to script. Push in the back, affected the kick. It will come back in the middle. It looks like, is that Manning?
No, that's Kane Flanagan.
Flanagan, I've confused them a couple of times today.
Looking out wide, Hills managed to get out on his own in the 50-metre area. Ball's going forward, and he bounced. It's taken on O'Leary, bounced out of his hands, and then managed to have a second bite at the cherry.
Tell you what, he kicked that last goal and he was pumping the hard, and he's turned his back on his teammates. I dare say if he kicks this, he might do a lap of the oval here at Broadview.
There's a very good chance of that now. For O'Leary now, he'd be about 45 metres out on about a 45-degree angle.
Named in the best 8 times of his 17 games. Only the 7 goals, but an ever-reliable wingman, North under 16, and as I mentioned, Broadview, heart and soul.
So the line's up now, comes in, slowly walks in now, swings out a bit to the right, got a bit close to the man on the mark, ball's in the square, comes off hand, picked up by the Brighton player, kicks it out, heading out towards the back line, but it's picked up by Manning. Manning now runs inside 50, has a lot ping at their goals, and he's offline for another behind. It's offline for another behind.
Got a few people here with the champagne bottles written. No, I'm just joking. But it's a hard-fought win for Broadview, and you can't fault Brighton's effort too. They've been on, they've been tackling, they've been hard running, but it's just been that extra bit of cream on top.
Another barrel down the middle.
It's all barrels coming out of full back. Perry couldn't take it. And we're into the last rights. We're about to tick into time on here at Broadview Oval. Just to allay your fears, Golden Grove still hold a 42-point lead over Tea Tree Gully. So with those results sticking, Broadview will survive. Here's Book, uncontested mark. No choice now but to play on. Tarka might have just got himself to the votes. I can't believe I'm saying that, but he's been electric. Warner's been the only thing up for.
Oh, great tackle there.
The pressure. They know they've got it won, but they haven't stopped. Forward 50, back 50, doesn't matter. And he just sockers it through at the other end for a rush behind. So Sportle and Hahn, 0 carbs scoreboard, 15, 14, 104. Bombers 9, 63. We're ticking the time on now, and Brighton have a 41-point lead.
Okay, kicked out there by Hammer out onto the half-back lines, picked up by O'Leary just inside the 50-metre arc there. Just slowly walks back, has a bit of a check, and has a look down the ground where he's going to kick it to. It's just looking now. And, short pass off to the side to Jackson.
Broadview. I might have said Brighton, did I? Sorry, Brighton fans. Just look at
Look away.
At the bottom left of your screen there. They both begin with brr. Come on, ladies. Just getting excited this last day of the season. Can they add a couple more goals just to go home down to the base side with Perry? Another mark of the day, Bianco mark of the day contender, and that is Flanagan. He can hold his head high. And how about the round of applause as Ethan Smith comes off? That might be the last time we see him, or it could be a short break. He's McKinnon Collins in the back pocket. And we talked about it in that second quarter briefly, but now we know it's done. The importance for Broadview to stay in Div 1 next season, Rod.
Oh, very much so. As I said before, Broadview, it's always been known, as long as I've been around, it's a Div 1 club, a very proud club, and to stay up in Div 1, that's very important to us.
So the kick comes down the wing. Can Broadview get it forward and get a little bit of cream? Murphy's definitely being in the top three. He's got to hope that's cramp. Getting an injury in the last 5 minutes of the season's never good, but it looks like he's okay. Hands off to Plenty. He was delayed in today as we tick down on the 2024 season. Coming all the way back, Danielle, Jackson, Little. Kicked it in between Anyang and the umpire, but the agility of the man. Joel Anyang, and don't the reserves and the C-grade boys love him. Anyang just leaves a mark on Timmy D. I dare say Timmy Dixon will wake up in the morning and be a bit sore after that. He's a big man.
Bruises around the ribcage.
Joel Anyang has held his head high. They wrestle again. Book over the top. O'Leary's been fantastic. He leaves it.
Wilson gets the kick in, picked up by Manning, back to O'Leary. O'Leary comes down middle of the ground, short pass down, now finds Danielle. Danielle just stops, has a look, handball back to O'Leary. O'Leary
he doesn't stop running, does he?
Handballs out to Jackson. Jackson lines up with a big left leg, kicks it into the centre half forward area, and not quite there to O'Halloran. Picked up by the Brighton player, comes back out again, picked up by Hill. Hill has a look over to Manning. Manning kicks it back forward into the forward line there.
They've got a spare in the goal square if they can sort this out.
There's Sam Rhodes there by the looks of it, pushing the ball around the court, picks it up. Oh, he had the chance. Still going with it. Still managed to get his boot on the ball. Kicks across goal and it hasn't quite gone out of bounds. Fergus there trying to get his hands on it, and the Brighton player knocks it out of bounds.
Comedy Capers, Benny Hills type stuff, and that would have been the goal of the year, I dare say, if he managed to pick that up and snap it. But the job is done for the Tigers. We'll see them in Div 1 next season. Plenty of questions around for Brighton, of course. One last boundary throw in on the pocket. Can they add a final goal?
Mulherron steadies, snaps, and no, he's offline for another behind.
They kicked about 3 or 4 behinds in a ride.
So the Broadview move along to 15-15 to Brighton 9-9.
42-point lead on the Hahn and Sportle scoreboard. Just double checking that Golden Grove. They've pushed it out to a 47-point lead now over Tea Tree Gully. So we'll be seeing Tea Tree Gully and Brighton next season in Div 2 footy. And not sure which teams are coming up from Div 2, but you can catch all the Div 2 to Div 7 grand finals live on Filming Footy. That's in 2 weeks' time. And of course, Div 1 grand final day is right here as well. And the women's Div 1 grand final happening right now with Broadview. I heard they were in front last check, I think, or no?
At quarter time, it was paying them by 19 points.
19 points, but still plenty of time left for Broadview to make it a scintillating day. Can they get it inside 51 last time and add a bit of cream on top? Warner says no. Higgins now, 23 and a half gone. There's not many crystals of sand left in the Brighton hourglass now. Rivers out wide. Chalmers has leaked out there. He might take 30 seconds off the clock, but this game is all but done. We've got 1 minute and 22 seconds. Thank you to our trusty Broadview timekeeper. I've mixed up my Brighton and Broadview again. Goodness. You got to change your name to start with something else.
And the colours.
Thanks to exactly the colours too. Thanks to all our timekeepers across the league. Here's Chalmers.
Looks very good off the boot. Beautiful goalkeeper in the pocket there.
Take that back with him. At least he can say he's kicked Brighton's perhaps last goal in Div 1 footy. That's Chalmers' 4th of the season, 129th game. Now we're back in the middle with, let's have a look, 25 minutes gone, 1 minute left, and It's been a pleasure to welcome Rod George, Broadview Secretary. Story.
Play, gets on, streaks onto that left leg, goes into the forward line, but an easy mark taken there by Kane Flanagan. Sets back now, just chips sideways out the side there to Logan McKinnon Collins. He takes the marks, just now plays on, goes forward, kicks it down the line out to the centre wing area in the front. Benny Manning there, fighting, managed to pick it out, get past the Brighton play, kicks it deep into the half forward area, but unfortunately all alone there. Now the Brighton player has dropped the mark and it's gone out of bounds.
Might be one last chance for a go after all.
Yeah. So
about 30 seconds or so.
Yeah. Jesse White will take the throw
20 seconds.
20 seconds to go. Jesse White will take, is there ready for the Broadview Rucks, along with Dixon. Umpire brings the ball back into the air. Up they go. Brighton player comes over the top as the third man up, comes back out now, down the centre wing. Oh, no, picked off by Manning there, and it knocks the ball out of bounds again. Right on centre wing on the outer side.
So under 10 seconds left in this Adelaide Footy League season. It's going to be the last 10 seconds for Brighton. We'll see them in Div 2. I'm sure they'll come back bigger and better than ever.
Umpire throws in the ball in the air. Yang gets his hands on it. Fought down now, picked up by Broadview. Jackson Wilson there kicks it deep into the forward lines here. Boris is out there again over the top. And it's a win to the Tigers, 15-15 to Brighton, 10-9. A 6-goal win. 36 points.
Baldwin Hunt scoreboard, you called beautifully, 15-15 to 105. And to be honest, it could have been a lot more. Left a lot on the table, including Johnny Boris missed a few. But the Bombers 10-9, 69, undermanned and outclassed, unfortunately for them, a 36-point loss. But congratulations, of course, on the Brighton side of things to Brett Backwell, Rob Miles, their men's footy director, Lou Crow, their women's footy director, a changing of the guard at Brighton. But all the spoils, of course, should go to Matt Burgess in his final game as coach. And as I said, Rod George, Broadview Secretary, who's been joining us in the call all afternoon. A pretty historic day, it has to be said. Staying in Div 1 doesn't seem like a massive achievement, but we've seen in recent years dropping down. Not many teams can bounce up again quickly, so staying in Div 1 is so crucial.
Oh, it is so crucial, and as you said with a lot of teams, they go drop out of Div 1 down to Div 2. It's not the quick fix now to get back. If you don't get back in that first year, it can be a bit of a struggle. We've seen that with Goodwood this year. Most people expected Goodwood to be back straight back up in Div 1 again, and they didn't make finals in Div 2. So no, it's a very important to remember in Div 1. And yes, the umpires have confirmed it is a 6-goal margin, so they're very happy there. So. Yes, as the players are just talking to each other now, congratulating. Yes, Broadview very happy. We're staying up in Div 1. I think that's the job's done. The other results have gone our way for us, and we look at Golden Grove there, 8 goals in front of Tea Tree Gully there at the 23-minute mark of the last quarter. So
yes, indeed. So around the grounds quickly for all the results. Sacred Heart have won Prince Alfred. They lock up second spot going into finals. For the Rams, another comprehensive win after their first loss of the season last week. They've just beaten Payneham by 48, so they go in hot premiership favourites. Poor Districts have beaten St Peter's, but the heroics of the past couple of weeks, St Peter's beating, of course, Broadview and Glenunga in the past 2 weeks, they will survive by the skin of their teeth. And as you mentioned, Golden Grove leading by 41 points very late into that fourth quarter. So a final check on the men's Div 1 table, and joining Div 2 next season will be the Bombers and Tea Tree Gully. Broadview push out from 10th up to 8th on the final afternoon. Any Broadview fans, they're welcome back to the club, I'm sure, this evening for celebrations. And even if you girls are successful or not, I'm sure it'll be a big night ahead.
Oh, definitely big night ahead. So it's 3 wins for the men. The B grade girls have already got, so we've got 4 out of 5 so far, and we're just hoping that the A grade girls can just continue on there and get back into the game. And
yeah, we're checking that one now. It's live on Filming Footy. Second quarter halfway through, they're only down by 7. So
7 points. So it's
Broadview fans, stick around. It could be one of those days.
Could be one of those days here. So both teams just taking their time, just getting off the ground here and just spending a bit of time out on the ground. Johnny Boris there with his little son in his arms.
And that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about clubs that represent not only themselves but their community, their family, and the likes of players who could play for bigger money elsewhere, etc., etc. And the celebration now with Scotty Nerlich, this is his 200th game, and I hate to say, it looks like it might be possibly a last game, might be just a milestone chair off. I'm sure we'll find out, but some beautiful scenes as Broadview wander over to congratulate him as well.
That is the great thing about district footy, in that is the respect that clubs have for each other for occasions like this, and we see it in the AFL all the time, but when we see it at this level where we understand the bigger part of the game, where it means a lot to the people themselves, and just the Broadview players then to come over and just acknowledge him coming off the ground. Look, they know they've stayed up in Div 1, and they could have gone straight in the rooms and celebrate, but they've done the right thing here. They've come over and just acknowledged him. We just look at Brett Backwell just down here now with a lot of people who've known over the years and that, just coming up to congratulate him on his last game. And,
for sure, a storied career. You played for Carlton, West Adelaide, Glenelg, won the JJ Ellison as a player and the McGarry medal as a player. He was saying to me last week he just needs some time away from footy for the next year or so. Who knows, he might pop up somewhere else, you never know. But a big congratulations for them to be still in contention coming into the last day with about 13 players injured is an achievement in itself. And just finally, the way Broadview acted then, they've been in Div 2 as recently as a couple of seasons ago, so they know what it's like, where Brighton are going. So it's that relation, that kind of shared knowledge of the journey they're going on, but the excitement as well that they're about to experience with another season in Div 1 next year.
No, that's very good. We're excited we're back in there, and I think it's knowing what Brighton will be going through now, going down to Div 2, and Lyon wanting to regroup and to get back up into Div 1. So, it was a good game. It was played in great spirits by both clubs. There was no anything going on out there. They just wanted. It was an open game of footy. There was no spite or anything like that, and they both wanted to have just an enjoyable last game of the season, knowing that they're not playing next week. So it's a good way to finish the season.
And Johnny Boras, not too sure how the Tea Tree Gully game is going in terms of goal scorers, but I'd say he's locked up top 2 in league goal kicking, and he might have his name on the number 1 spot. Check the Play HQ website this evening. We've run out of time. That's just about all we've got. Teams are in the sheds. You can hear them singing the song from here. Rod George, thank you so much for your time today. Broadview Secretary, Historian and Delegate Past Players. And one final congratulations, of course, to Matt Burgess, his final game as coach. So a bit of a transition in the off-season for you, but we'll see you in Div 1 next season.
Oh, absolutely. So I can imagine there'll be a fair bit of emotions down in the change rooms at the moment. There'll be probably being a few tears shed down there. So Matt's been extremely good for our club over the years. Just a little update there. The Broadview Women's A grade are just a point behind Paynham, so they've got themselves back into the game. But Matt's been very, very good for the club, and we're sad to see him go. He helped us get out of Div 2. We knew we had the right man to get us out of Div 2. Brought something to the club we haven't had for a while with the culture and the way we wanted to go forward as a club. So we're very thrilled with Matt, and especially his dad Tony, and his dad's coached here before as well. So it's been a good 3 years. We've done the job. We've stayed up in Div 1, and now we just reset the foundations to go forward for next year, and to get back up into being a competitive Div 1 finals club, which is what we're well and truly known for.
The closing of one door opens another for Brighton. It's the closing of the Div 1 door opening the Div 2 door, and a new era for coaching and football direction. And for Broadview, they stay in Div 1 for 2025, and a new door will open for their coach. So keep an eye on their Facebook page, of course. Between the Posts, Tuesday night on the Adelaide Footy League Facebook page. If you're a Broadview fan, come down to the club rooms. The women's grand final is on right now, down by a point, almost half time. So keep an eye on that on Filming Footy Well, I've been Jack Moore. Thank you once again to our cameraman, our scorekeepers, everybody here at Broadview for welcoming us in all season and all of the clubs. Rod George, who has joined me in commentary. It was Broadview who saved their season. The finals are amongst us. You can catch them all right here on Filming Footy. They start next week. Have a brilliant week from Broadview. It's the Tigers who remain in Div 1 and Brighton who sink down to Div 2. Good evening to you.